Hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. My name is Brad Rohr.
And I am at 2:15 p.m. on this Monday, Ray Harrington.
And I'm Charles Staten, a third. Charles Alexander Staten, the third.
That's what's your social security?
No, that's not what you do. You don't do that.
No, it's part of the. We talked about a new opening.
Our new intros.
Okay.
To really kind of brand ourselves.
Yeah. If I put my security number out there, do you think anyone would really do anything? Probably not.
Fun Bears love a prank.
Let's find out.
We should do all three of ours and see. We should place bets on who's going to get their identity stolen. Guys,
terrible.
it's me. I won.
I won.
You each showed me $2.
That's perfect.
My house
have
is
fun.
gone.
Before we get into what we're here for, the meat.
The meat.
Yes.
The protein.
The I got to be honest, the filet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a bit of an aioli to get to really quickly.
Hold on. Pot roast, beef patty.
Fuck you. Beef patty.
Mine is
Beef patty.
mystery meat at best, right here.
I think you're a solid Midwest kind of loaf meat.
Like
We actually, I mean, at this point, we don't know each other's.
unseasoned hamburger right here.
We don't know our content, so we all are
I
mystery
know.
meats to each other.
We did not take that BuzzFeed quiz. What meat are you? We didn't take that. What meat is your personality? Right. I'm such a pork chop. Right.
Carne asada, carne asada, carne asada.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Carne asada.
It says boring bologna.
I was gonna say we know he's gonna be baloney. It's with
Expired bologna?
Oscar Mayer rejected baloney.
Oscar Bayer.
Yes.
Oh, it's not even name brand.
Bosco, go for it. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, so I have something for us here. And since today we are getting into movie territory,
Yes.
Movies.
we're being a little bit of a movie geeky.
We're
guys.
popcorn,
Yeah.
like Ray says.
Popcorn.
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 I told
apostrophe P.
Brad some of the movies that you consider popcorn, and he scoffed.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember
You're
that
He
conversation.
such a
said, he
scoffer.
said The Menu and Hereditary are popcorn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
scoffed.
those are like popcorn.
Yeah, I scoffed.
I scoffed
All
at
right,
that.
that's
too.
fine. That's fine.
Wait, I cough at that.
Oh,
Sorry,
all right.
Did you say scoff?
I scoffed, yeah.
Oh, I jack off at that.
We got to stop these rhyming verbs.
I know, I hate it. It's like games that no one should win. But no, since we're in movie territory here,
Yeah.
Yes.
we're in
La La
kind
Land.
of we're in broy geek territory, right?
Bros and geeks are opposites.
It's Superman's and Batman's. It's comic book movie
bros
stuff.
and geeks. Interesting.
Frozen geeks.
All
I'm
right,
doing
enough
it
of this.
again. All
Keep
right.
going.
Can we start over the whole podcast?
Like from episode 1?
Yes, is what I've been saying. Did you guys get my petition.org?
You know what sometimes our podcast feels like, and not in a mean way, but you know how you're in traffic and there's someone who hits the gas and then brakes and the gas and the brakes and the gas. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah. And then Chuck comes out and then jumps on the car hood like an insurance scam.
Yeah. What part's the most fun part of your day that you're telling your family about?
Oh, God, your car knocked my pants off.
So I think I hit this guy,
Yes.
but he was rubbing against my bumper. All right, so here's a bit of news for you.
Yes.
I have movie news.
Right.
Movie news, right?
Guy Smiley.
Get your popcorn and head to the box office roundup.
Yeah.
We, as a goof, occasionally will get into a George Lucas territory.
Yes.
Where we do a little bit of a Lucas voice, and we talk about his sillies for his names.
You got a lot of stills.
Right?
Yeah.
I slept so badly last night, and I don't know if I'm actually awake right now, and I apologize.
Fever dream.
So this is true. This is a little bit of news from back when the video game The Force Unleashed was coming out.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of the team did an interview talking about the process with George Lucas, and we talk about how insane his names are for Star Wars things.
Yes.
That's our fun go-to. Like, what if there was an alien named Dax Shepard? That sounds like an alien. that sounds like one of mine. Dax Shepard.
That's
human
a
being. Shit.
actor. Yeah.
All right.
Married to Kristen Bell.
What if
Josh.
what if the new vehicle was, I don't know, headphones, but they
They fly.
they roll?
Well, I got the idea for the name Mace Windu when I had some work done in my office, and I had a bay window put in, and my secretary came in and she went, "That's a nice window," and I went, "Nice window."
Did you say Mace Windu?
Nice window.
No, it said nice window.
Nice window. Nice window. Nice window. Mace window. And then I ejaculated and wrote it down. So this is true. Are you ready for this?
True.
We make this joke.
I don't know if I am.
We do these goofs. We do
Yes.
these goofs, jokes, and gibbles all the time.
Right.
It's accurate. Quote, the team threw a Hail Mary to George, saying the game would have more credibility if the apprentice had a Darth title.
Okay.
This is a member of the Force Unleashed team.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So they went to George Lucas and said, we want to make him a Darth.
Right.
Something.
Right.
He's got to be in the Sith family,
Yeah.
right? And he came back on a group call and said, he threw out Darth Icky and Darth Insanius. Here's the rest of the quote.
By the way, that's me and Brad. If we're part of the if we're part of the dark
Oh no, here comes Darth Icky.
it's me. For sure, it's me.
No, you're Icky.
I
You're
would be-
Insanius.
yeah.
No, Icky
Yeah.
is like, you don't want to touch it's wet, sticky. What do you
Darth Icky.
I don't want to touch things that are wet and sticky.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And it's
You're
just like, he's
mostly
icky.
wet and sticky.
Yeah, he's Insanius and
right.
is always going around going, no, I told you it's insanus. Like an insane anus. Come on. But so on the call, he throws out, what about Darth Icky and Darth Insanius? Right?
Yeah.
Quote, there was a pregnant pause in the room after that. People waiting for George to say, just kidding, but it never comes, and he just moved on to another point.
That's hilarious.
It was so bad that they thought it was a joke.
Yep.
Can I tell you what I think the actual real life example of that actually made it through is unobtainium in
Sure.
Avatar. That's my favorite crazy. How the fuck is this in a real movie?
Yeah,
thing.
that's in a first draft of a script where
Yeah.
you're like, it's hard to get, so
Yeah.
we'll just type in something here. Yeah.
so funny.
Oh, and for our viewer listener who might be wondering if there's like a weird droning sound, it's not us.
It's the gears in my brain.
There's some construction happening in the area around us, and so we're kind of in the bubble of that. So I don't know how much of it we'll get on mic.
I
but
think
it's
we'll be
there.
okay.
Yeah,
I think
if somebody with a high vis vest like walks past the cameras, just tune them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, or if
please.
a boulder crushes Brad.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if
Rubble.
somebody holds up a sign that says caution or it's at a stop and then they pivot it and it's
Yeah.
a caution
Yeah.
and then you see cars come by, don't worry. It's just a little bit of construction.
No worries. No worries.
If you see a guy taking a shit in a porta potty, it's just part of the construction crew.
Actually, it might be me.
That might be okay.
me, yeah.
All right, yeah.
Why is half of Ray's screen censored?
If we start randomly catcalling, we're just part of a construction crew.
Yeah.
No problem.
Hey!
Yeah. What's up, bitch? Oh no, you
Hey,
went too.
Darth Icky.
Come on, man, you went too hard, Steve. You got to calm down. I like the idea
Yo,
of
girl,
like the
you
new
want
guy.
to come to the dark side with me, Darth Icky?
What did you say?
What? Just keep walking, Cheryl. But no, I do think that's insane. Like
Yeah.
we've been doing the George Lucas coming up with alien names as a goof.
Yes.
It's real.
Oh, it's real. Baby.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, I
this
mean-
man clicks his pen in his office going, what's a good alien name?
Can I throw out a devil's ad?
Sure.
I love.
Wait, I'm
doing
sorry,
an
is
ad
this-
for the
At
devil?
this
Yes,
point,
an
you're just an
advertisement for the
advocate.
devil.
So you got to think. When was the first Star Wars film? 1975, 6.
6, yeah.
So he's had to come up with a lot of names by now.
For Darth?
A lot of names, a lot of aliens, a lot of planets.
I
a lot of
understand.
places.
However, it does there does seem to be a rhythm of things, right?
Yeah.
I think if you add like the eus after most anything, I think most of the names are like one syllable and then a two syllable. And you're done, right? Like I joked about Dax Shepard.
Yeah.
It fits the formula
Yeah, it
of
does.
a George Lucas creation name.
For usually, I think. Yeah.
Mace Windu.
I think,
Dax Shepard.
The original
Chuck Staten.
Darth Vader. Oh, Chuck Staten.
the original Luke Skywalker, the name was Luke Starkiller, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right? And that's who what they used for Force Awakens, I actually think, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Was
know.
it Starkiller the name of the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe he's like, you know how people say Quentin Tarantino is like he's a good director,
Yeah.
but it's like a necessity that he has a good editor.
Sure.
Maybe George Lucas, there's a necessity that he like, puts his ideas into the grinder, and then the people say, yeah, this is bad. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
bad. And they just filter out the good
and
stuff.
that's what happened with the prequels.
Yeah, I know.
There was nobody to go, hey George, because famously the original trilogy, the first movie, was like so different,
Of
and
course.
saved in the edit by his wife.
Yes, right.
But nobody talks about that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that contributed to the script too. I think.
Behind every great man
There's George Lucas.
is George Lucas, just behind him. Hi, it's me.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's what he says to Steve Spielberg all the time.
He says that to Spielberg.
Hey, Steve.
Harrison Ford.
Have you thought about changing your name to Ford Harrison? Because I think I could use that in a Star Wars.
Obi-Wan Ford. No. Obi Ford.
Dodge Prius. Put two cars together. He's a smuggler.
Yeah.
Dodge Prius is a smuggler.
So he's on a conference call.
Ford Mustang.
Like, what's the protagonist of this movie? What's his last name?
I don't know. Jones.
Like, so what's his first name? He's driving.
Welcome to Indiana.
Indiana Jones.
Wow, that is interesting.
But no, I just think that's insane that we've been making that joke for a while.
Yeah.
I think since like the first batch of recordings that we
Right.
did for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I do love it. And I could go into George Lucas coming up with names, character voice all day long.
Me too.
But the fact that it's true, the fact that he was on a conference call and said, Darth Icky
Yeah.
is amazing.
It's
to me.
weird because I don't have a problem with Insanius, but I think Darth Icky is.
I think
terrible.
Insanius.
Yeah.
Insanius is
Insanius
not good.
is so
Well,
like
they
you're
are
It's
just
so on the
taking-
nose.
Yeah,
It's
you're-
insane with Eus at the
Well,
end.
Yeah.
General Grievous.
He's grieving.
Because he has a grievance. You mean?
No,
No,
because he
grievous is a word.
is a word.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's like it's like
But insane
like
is a lot more commonly
Is-
used
is-
than
offensive kind of
grievous.
thing.
Is there a Darth Tyrannus? Is that a character
that
somewhere?
does sound extremely familiar.
right.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
am I thinking Six Semper Tyrannus? I don't know.
Well, a lot of people don't know John Wilkes Booth, when he shot Abraham Lincoln, he jumped down onto the stage
Yep.
and then started saying ideas for Darth names.
Yes.
And he said, Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Darth Sick, Darth Semper, Darth Tyrannus.
Darth Booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he ever talk about where Darth Vader came from or any of these names?
No.
He ever talks about it?
No, I don't know.
That's really interesting. I'd like to see if he
Yeah.
did. I'd love to do some research.
I haven't. If he has, I haven't
Right, same
seen
here.
it. But I just think we're at this point where, for a long time, George Lucas has been like, "What's a bad word? A word for a bad boy." And then I'll just add like Eus.
I think there was a little Ray Harrington in that George
I'll
Lucas.
just add a little
that
Eus
bad
at the end.
boy.
Darth Pedophilius. Oh no, George, no.
Darth Pedophilius. That guy's fucking bad.
And then he's
I
just,
like that actually. I love Darth Pedophilius.
I don't.
Oh, hey, that's Senator Pedophilius.
Pedophilius. What an unfortunate name.
Yeah. Don't trust Senator Pedophilius. Why?
That's exactly what I was going to do.
What did he do?
I was gonna
What's
do
the
that.
problem? It's an unfortunate last name.
I've got
Guys.
And Anakin got pulled into a room by Senator Pedophilius. Oh God! Oh, this is why he turns to the dark side.
That's why he
hurt
acts
people,
in such
hurt people.
That's why he acts in such a wooden way.
Yes.
He's been molested.
So Anakin, he kills all the, what are they called?
Younglings.
The younglings. They're like, oh God, a new crop of younglings. Darth Pedophilius got to him. It's like, he killed them all? Worse.
That's how you make more Sith. That's how you turn him to the dark side.
That's
awful.
As Darth Pedophilius, I'm like, look, it doesn't. We're in a galaxy a long time ago in a far, far away. It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yeah.
It's just on my home
It's different
planet.
words.
On my home planet, it means I'm royalty.
It means generous.
Yeah.
It means generous.
You see how much I give? I donate to children's charities all the time.
All right.
You say that's.
All right. So we're going
say
to.
that's just you pay for access.
I can't give it. I bring these children to my balls. I can't get enough children's balls. Wait, no.
I have, I want to know.
How did we get here so quick?
So we're going to start speaking in English. So what
okay.
does my name translate to? Just give me,
Oh, boy.
is it like
Oh.
hope or maybe bravery, strength?
Well, I've got some bad news.
Well, George Lucas is the translator. So we're here for a really
Somehow he's back. Somehow he came back.
So
Darth Pedophilius is back. Oh no.
Oh no!
No one's ever really gone.
Hide your kids. Hide your wives.
Harrison Ford going, it's all true. All of it.
all of it, all of it.
All of it.
You're my granddaughter.
So this today marks a really special occasion in Funbearable history, I think. Keep going with pedophilia.
I just the idea that like this real thing was there, and I was like, oh, I want to tell you guys this really quickly, and our little banter went back and forth, and we got to pedophiles so quickly.
Well, you think of bad people.
Yeah.
Villains. What do villains do? They kill, they touch.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all they do.
They do a kill touch.
Actually, some of them do.
Yeah. So let's get away from this.
Yes.
Let's move away from the Star Wars franchise and IP and over to another franchise and IP.
Well, today it's an interesting day in Funbearable history because one of the things that we used to do on the Chuck and Brad podcast with Ray was a thing called Pitch Doctors, where we would see a new property coming out and we would think, well, what if we were
Real
in
estate.
charge of it? And what would we pitch as our personal ideas for this thing? And we did it with Godzilla versus Kong. So we came to the table with our Godzilla versus Kong ideas for if we were pitching that movie. We did it with a Spider-Man movie. We did it with a few things.
We did it with a marriage story.
Yeah.
Yes, that was weird.
That was
Yours
that
was weird.
Yours was.
I
weird.
don't understand what makes a marriage work. So my story wasn't.
And
good.
you brought it in back into Star Wars territory.
Yeah,
I
Darth
did.
Pedophilius was the main character.
Yeah, because Adam Driver was in it, and
Yeah.
you were just
Yeah, you
like,
were like, I
oh,
thought it was the
he's-
same character.
He's actually, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, prove it that it wasn't.
But right now, obviously in theaters, Flash. What's it called? What's the movie called?
Flashpoint?
Flashpoint. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Just Flashpoint.
That's what's on our shared Google Calendar for it.
Flash, comma, flat, or
That can't be
colon,
right.
Flash, colon, Flashpoint.
Or is it Flash, comma, point? It can't be just Flashpoint. It's got to be like Flash.
DC.
Clash of the Flash.
Clash.
Ooh, the Flash
Clash.
Yeah, Flash Clash. It has all three of them. What's it called, Brad?
Hang on.
Brad's figuring it out.
I'm looking it up, baby.
Wow, I can't believe this is taking
I think it's the Flashpoint.
All right.
Fucking hell. DC.
You think this?
Get your shit together.
They're supposed to be. They're supposed to be getting their shit together.
So we have had a lot of fun in the past doing these pitch doctors kinds of things, right? Where we do come to the table with some creative ideas, either excitedly or begrudgingly.
It's just called the Flash.
It's just called the
I'm so
Flash.
sorry.
It's not called
Okay.
Flashpoint.
All right.
Brad was playing one of his patented goofs.
Did it work?
Well,
You
Flashpoint.
guys fell for it.
Yeah.
Flashpoint is the
The story is
crossover
based-
event in the
Right.
comics.
Yeah, it's based on Flashpoint.
that it's pulling from, right?
Yeah, when Chuck entered it on our shared Google Calendar, which is the way I learn about movies, he
Mm-hmm.
wrote in Flashpoint.
Well, I care so much about the source material that I said this is what it's coming from.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is
So
fair.
we're doing our own pitch doctors today for the flat. They're doing their first DC crossover movie. Obviously, in the trailer, it's
Is it?
for sure.
Wasn't Justice League supposed to be a big crossover?
No,
Wouldn't
that-
you call that a crossover?
No, I wouldn't.
Then
call
what
it-
do you what is
What
a
I mean is,
crossover?
well, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying like the Avengers movie, 2012.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider that a crossover. That was like a team up movie, but Spider-Man: No Way Home is like it crossed over the different franchises.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like Justice League was movies that were all in the same universe with characters that all
Sure,
already shared
sure,
the same stories. But this is more like
That's weird because in comic books that would be a crossover.
crossover event. Yeah,
You can't have it, by that definition. It would only be a crossover if it was like DC and Marvel together.
I guess so. You could probably do. It's funny because like Spider-Man and like Human Torch.
Yeah.
that could be a team up or it could be a crossover. I
Yeah,
guess
it's a weird thing.
It is weird. There's not. I guess there's not really an official term for it. But what they're doing is they're taking different eras of
Yeah.
DC movies and they're crossing them over. So in this new Flash movie, it's the Flash from the current movies, and I'm sure Ben Affleck's Batman is in it. We know that.
Yeah.
But it's crossing over with the '89 Batman series with Michael Keaton. We know that. And there are supposedly other crossovers in the movie as well with other DC franchises. And DC has previously done this with their TV shows, as I learned, right?
Yes.
And then Marvel did it, obviously, with Spider-Man No Way Home. And they crossed over the 3 different Spider-Man movies. So we said, okay, Pitch Doctors, what if we were in charge of doing a DC crossover movie?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the parameters. And so Brad wrote his own idea. Ray wrote his own idea. I wrote my own idea. We have no idea what each other are bringing to the table.
And you guys flat out turned down my initial pitch. My initial pitch, you guys were both like, don't do that. Come up with something else.
Right.
And it was just that Adam West now fights Joaquin Phoenix as the
Ooh,
Joker.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
See,
you,
that's a good idea.
We pointed out the flaw in your plan.
which is what? Which is what, Brad? What could possibly be wrong with my idea of Adam West now fighting Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker?
Just cancel culture.
What do you mean?
Well, it's. I mean,
It's not racist.
it feels.
It's
racist.
not sexist.
It feels racist.
It feels racist?
Yeah. Well, your script treatment felt really racist.
Yeah.
But he's the Joker. He says bad things.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
right.
they're jokes.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Bad people kill, touch,
Yeah.
say bad things.
And also,
Yeah,
I think
that's the third
like,
thing they do.
the Adam West estate was pissed. I don't know. Is he dead?
Well, how come he also said bad things? Can you explain that?
He said bad things, but that was just in our meeting.
But why did you put him in the script?
He wanted them in the script. It was his ideas, and he said, "I'm only going to do it if that happens." You know?
Can you do a good Adam West?
I don't know.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to really jump into that depth.
Yeah.
Hi. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
It's close to William
nobody
Shatner.
messes with Adam Wee. That whole thing from Family Guy.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
good stuff.
All right, let's get into it because now we're spinning some wheels. Who's
We always do.
I,
Brad's gonna
I
go
would
first.
attacking it.
love. I would
Brad's
love
gonna
to go
present
first.
his DC crossover first. Pitch Doctors, Brad's DC
so to
crossover.
be clear? We are in the boardroom at
Yeah.
DC, and
That's what it is.
Kathleen Kennedy is there.
James Gunn.
And they
Yeah.
say, Kathleen, get out of here.
Yeah.
You run the Marvels. Or Star Wars.
Star
You
Wars.
run the
Yeah,
Star
sure.
Wars. And
Yeah.
she's like, sorry, it's in the same building.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
is
she
weird.
leaves. Yeah. And James Gunn is there.
Yeah, that's a co-working
And they're like,
space.
wait, aren't you supposed to be over at the Marvel studio doing that? And he goes, no, I'm here now.
Yes.
And then there's a banging on a glass window, and it's Zack Snyder. And Zack's going, but what if they're really sad? And they go, no, we want to hear new ideas.
So we're in the room.
They hit the curtains and they just
And
slowly
he's-
go down.
That's what it is. So Brad
Yeah.
is in the board. Brad is presenting his pitch
Yeah.
for a DC crossover movie. He
Right.
said Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the biggest movies of all time. They got all these Spider-Men running around. I'm gonna bring this to DC.
Yep.
Right.
To the big screen.
I like how we're over explaining.
Yeah, like people are like, what are they doing?
Can you just do the fucking thing already? It's in the title. Do the fucking thing. But we're here like, close your eyes and imagine. All right, viewer, listener, close your eyes.
We're like, all right.
Picture a boardroom.
We're like, Brad wakes up. He takes a shower. They're like, what?
he does a dookie.
Yeah, not a big one.
It's not as healthy as he'd like it to be. Then he gets in the car.
All right, Brad, what do you got?
We open with a shot of the night sky.
Oh, I love this.
Suddenly, the bat signal appears.
That's my favorite signal.
We get a really cool drone shot flying around. We don't see much. We don't know exactly what's going on, but the camera swoops up onto a roof and we see Commissioner Jim Gordon.
Love him.
Batman appears behind him.
Ha, surprise.
Gordon, without turning around, says, I wasn't sure you would come. And Batman says, why would you think that? Gordon says, I misspoke. I hoped you wouldn't come. Spotlights come on. Armed police officers come out. They're going to capture Batman.
No.
Cut to black.
It's just like Jason.
Yeah.
It's just like when Jason went to hell.
Yes. Titles open.
Batman Goes to Hell. I would
watch that.
If they said no trailers, we're
Yeah.
releasing Batman Goes to Hell.
Oh, wait, no. If we're in the writer's room, we spend 4 days coming up with this, and at the very end, we go, oh, shit, we just made Spawn.
We get John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo's in his clown makeup.
I think it's a great idea.
No, he goes, oh yeah.
Shit. I was wondering why Joker was so fat.
The titles, character, actors and everything. But we get newscasters talking about the death of the Joker. The previous night, all signs point to the Batman. No one knows why he would do this, talking head segment on a couch or whatever.
Yeah.
We learned that Batman somehow escaped police custody the previous night, and no one knows where he is. He's gone underground.
Check the back.
Do you bring Jay Leno in for some of the talking head stuff, like monologues?
yeah.
There's got to be late night monologues.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
You hear about the Joker? You hear about the Joker dying, folks?
He's riding a horse in your
Hey, giddy up.
This is terrible. I'm so sorry.
Batman is at the Batputer in the Batcave. He and Alfred talk about the death of the Joker, how it's not worth it to kill, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Alfred, after the conversation, Alfred reminds him that night Batman has a meeting with the Justice League. But first, Bruce Wayne has a meeting that afternoon with Lex Luthor.
Whoa. Ah, yes.
The meeting takes place. Lex Luthor's pretty weird, kind of out of it. He talks about the choices we make and how every choice you make takes you on a different path, and in doing so creates a different universe. He asks Bruce, if you could meet another version of yourself, if you could view the paths not taken, what would you ask yourself? And,
Sliding doors.
yeah. That night, Batman meets with the Justice League.
Eat out Catwoman. Remember?
Jesus Christ.
No, that was a scene in a movie, a cartoon that they cut.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
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 Referred to. I'm sorry, make it up.
I know. I'm sorry.
Batman meets with the Justice League. We learn about a crazy energy surge, 2 nights before, the night before the Joker died. The warehouse is by the docks, whatever. The ownership of the warehouse is traced to LexCorp, of course.
Sure.
This guy.
So Superman and Batman go to investigate. Things go south. He's fighting Luthbots. I don't know. Some sort of robots.
Luthbots.
Yep.
Martin Luther King bots?
No, just Luthor
I
bots.
have a dream.
I'm
so sorry.
Superman
I'm
hates them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will destroy you based on the content of your character.
I have a dream. And he goes, well, welcome to your nightmare.
He says, I have. No, the robot goes, I have a dream. And Batman's like, robots can't dream. And then the robot's like,
But they can.
does not compute. And then it explodes.
Oh, it just creates a paradox?
Yeah.
The fight's going on. He's throwing robots. Superman's throwing robots into the sky, whatever. But notices like a nondescript middle-aged man who's about to get smashed and smushed against the wall by like a big robot military truck. Wow. And it's just like
a robot truck.
Yeah, like a normal,
Like a transformer?
No. I'm not bringing in that many
Robot
crossovers.
truck.
Robot truck, though.
I wrote down cool military truck.
That sounds like a dollar DVD at the Walmart
Yes.
bin called Robot Truck, and it's like it's
Transmorphers.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
The important thing is Superman can't save the guy. He's smashed and smushed against the wall by this truck.
P.S. If you're going to be a villain and you create evil robots to take over the world,
Yep.
make them look like Martin Luther King.
That is
Because
interesting.
people will hesitate to stop
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, fine, you got me. Take me to jail.
Superman.
Let's hear him out.
Superman looks down at the wreck, but then you see the truck start to move, and the truck is picked up and tossed aside. This 50-something-year-old man, without much of a physique, seems to have super strength. What? And then he flies. He flies up to Superman. Holy smokes! It's 1950s TV Superman.
Wow.
Black and white?
Black and white.
Is
But,
he in black and white?
No, he's
That'd be-
colorized.
oh, that'd be
we
fun.
don't have the budget.
That'd be fun.
We cut to the Batcave. Modern Supes, modern Batman are talking. They're running tests on old Supes to prove he is, Kryptonian, gets the whole story. They realize he is who Superman would be if some choices were made differently. Batman says, if that's true, then ... And another voice comes in and says, that would mean you're not alone, Bruce.
Ooh, wait a minute.
And a dude walks out.
yeah.
Classic Batman, 1960s TV Batman.
Mr. West.
I
yeah.
cannot overstate the authenticity of the costumes on old Superman and old Batman. These dudes are not buff at all.
Yeah, I like that.
We learn that classic Batman found the Batcave because he's the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
That's the through line. Makes sense.
Unfortunately, he's using 1940s technology.
Yes.
It takes a long time.
I'm also realizing, 60s, right?
Yeah.
60s.
Oh, Batman, right, yeah.
But I'm realizing 50s Superman.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense why he'd be fighting if he's
Martin
Superman
Luther
from
bots.
the 50s. That's why he's fighting the Martin Luther King bots. Because he's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He's enforcing the law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He's like,
Stay away from my water fountain.
Oh, God.
You're the one that brought
I know. It's just too specific. I don't like the details. I don't like the details.
Brown versus
Get
Board
out
of
of this
Education.
lunch
and
counter.
Kent.
That little girl can't go to that school. Oh, my God.
He smashes a bus because of where
Racist
someone's
Superman.
sitting.
Yeah, now instead of Superman versus the Klan, which is real,
Yep.
it would now be Superman as the head of the Klan. It's Grand Wizard Superman.
It's Superman versus us.
We're back at
As
Lex.
the progressives and then
Yeah.
versus the Klan.
Back-
Slow is there.
We're back at LexCorp. You know, Lex Luthor's talking with someone. We realize, of course, it is a classic Lex Luthor. It's not a really cool reveal, but then the
Is
main.
it Gene Hackman?
Sure.
Didn't he play Lex Luthor in
I
one
think
of the
so.
movies?
I think so.
Oh, R.I.P. Gene Hackman. Sorry.
Not a cool reveal, but then the main modern Lex leans forward, bringing his face out of the shadow, and for some reason, he's wearing Joker makeup. Lex Joker.
What?
It was cooler in my head.
That was the whole thing?
No, I guess.
Lex Joker?
I guess classic Wonder Woman shows up as well. She and modern Wonder Woman are friends. They're like, we're women. We don't compete the same way men do. It's very progressive.
Yeah.
Right.
Very arms crossed, looking at the guys fighting, going,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Stupid.
The
These
six
boys.
heroes.
Yeah. These friggin' idiots.
So, you know, 40s, 50s TV Superman, 60s TV Batman, and 70s TV Wonder Woman
Yeah.
team up with their modern counterparts. They're fighting. It doesn't go well because they're not fighting as a team. Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
But they're going against multiple versions of the Riddler, the Penguin, General Zod, and Cheetah. I didn't look up any other villains from the Wonder Woman universe.
So this is Ben Affleck Batman?
You know, modern Batman. Could be Pattinson.
Nolan.
Could be Christian Bale.
Okay.
They retreat to the Batcave to plan their next attack. Much is made of the physique of the old male superheroes,
That would be fun. That would be a fun scene.
who then respond by saying like, "Why are you so like sad and mean all the time about the
Yeah, that's
broodiness
funny
of the
too.
modern
That's funny
superheroes?"
too.
The group is not getting along.
See, the problem is all these Batmans
Yeah.
are lone wolf kind of guys, and they're all working together. It's it's going to be a real comedy of errors. You know what I
It would be
mean?
a funny little thing if it was like the Bale Batman dealing with the Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
And Bale was it's just like a little thing, and it was like, so what's your workout routine? And Adam West going this workout routine, and then it goes to the next scene, and that's it.
Scotch.
It's scotch and cigars.
I just drink scotch and talk to my
He goes-
young boy.
He goes bat scotch.
And then Adam West is like, "Where's your young boy?
yeah.
Don't you have a young boy?
Yeah, it's sort
A brightly colored young boy."
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have a brightly colored young boy.
Oh, that's your problem.
It was going to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the end.
Yeah.
Cut back to the Lexes and the other villains. Their plan is going really well. I didn't write down what their plan was. It's basically, you know, make
plan.
money, do bad things.
Yeah. Touch, kill.
Hell yeah.
We know
that
how bad
sounds like
guys
a
are.
fucking rap song. Make money, do bad things.
Enter classic Cesar Romero style Joker.
Ooh.
Nice.
He teases everyone, modern classic,
Mm-hmm.
and agrees to help them. Obviously, the plan can't go forward without him.
Okay.
Final showdown is set up. There's a big fight. The teamwork is good,
Yeah.
but not good enough. The bad guys are going to win.
Oh,
I don't
no.
like that at all.
And then I put a
This is like
frowny,
the days are
frowny face
darkest.
emoji.
Yeah, right.
Our heroes are at their lowest.
Lex Joker decides to monologue. He delivers his big speech
Yeah.
about how he's powerful and
Right.
great and smart. But then we hear a gunshot and his head explodes. What the heck? Classic Joker straight up executed Lex Joker.
Classic by like
Cesar Romero.
Caesar Romero.
That's the twist. You don't see that coming.
Yeah,
No,
because I
not
was
at
just
all.
thinking while you were talking, I was thinking Heath Ledger Joker
Right.
would kill Caesar Romero Joker.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
But we, no,
Just
but
to do it.
Caesar Romero Joker is seeing the new rules.
Yeah.
And he's getting
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. He's not bound by
I
the
like
rules
that.
he had to live by
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
it's super violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And, you know, he screams, "There's only one clown prince of crime in Gotham City." which is why Lex had to wear the Joker makeup so you could get that line.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That turns the tide for the good guys. The bad guys are in disarray. Joker is trying to kill everyone.
Yeah. Bad guys, good guys, everybody.
Just everyone. You know, he like bursts in this door. He shoots all three of us just so we get our cameo in there.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Eventually, the good guys win. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're sending their people back to the home worlds. It's also implied that modern Batman slept with classic Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Nice
That's
work,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Post-credit scene, they have a baby of some kind?
No.
That'd be amazing.
no, I have a different post-credit scene that I thought of when we were setting up
Have
the
a
cameras.
baby of some kind. The doctor's like, well, it's a baby of some kind.
No, you know what it is? It's the Bat Baby on National Enquirer.
It's Batmite. That's how you get Batmite.
You know what I'm talking about?
You mean Bat Boy?
Bat Boy.
Bat Boy is what you're saying. Yeah.
It's a-
He goes like,
So how did Batmite come to be? You know Batmite, right? Yeah.
yeah, Batmite.
It's because modern Batman slept with
Classic Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
My
And then Dr. Spaceman from 30 Rock is like, it seems to be a baby of some kind. Perplexing.
as we're getting shots of the heroes.
That's an angry baby.
We're getting shots of the heroes going back through whatever portal to their home universes.
Yeah.
I love portals.
And we get a voiceover monologue from one or both of the Wonder Women about how it's not the size of your muscles that makes you a hero. And we get footage of like a school kid standing up to a bully to protect his friend. It's not the quality of your gear. And it shows like a guy giving a sandwich to a homeless person. And probably something about being from another culture. You don't have to be from another culture to respect other cultures. And it's, you know, Wonder Woman, and it's, you know, being nice to somebody who is visibly from a different culture. We can all be heroes as long as we do the right thing.
And then the Martin Luther King bots start to like.
Then they become good.
They become good, yes.
They
So
become
what's your post-credit scene?
Post-credit scene, I was like, it's owned by like it's all distributed by Warner Brothers, and somehow the post-credit scene is like, you know, modern bats and soups talking, and they're like, well, you know, like what other universes are there? And we go to a WB Tower, and it cartoonizes, and it's Yakko, Wacko, and
Yeah.
Dot from the Animaniacs.
Yeah. Can I give another post-credit scene?
Please, is it the baby?
Batman's eating breakfast.
Good, yeah,
Regular Batman.
yeah.
And Alfred comes in, and Batman's like, He's like, you don't think that you fucked anything up in the timeline by banging 70s Wonder Woman, do you? And Alfred's like, no. And then Batman's like, huh? And he opens up his National Enquirer, and it's the Bat Boy, and he's like, shit. Come on, that's fun.
Like that.
Oh,
yeah.
it's an off, and then cuts.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. I will say with your
Wait, I'm sorry. How would 70s Wonder Woman deliver the baby so that modern Batman sees it?
yeah.
She'd be
is a good
delivering the
question.
baby in her own universe.
Yeah.
He's looking back at the paper from the week that she gave birth to make sure that nothing weird happened. You know what I mean? He's checking back in on it. He's
Okay.
like, you know,
But
what
He
again-
checks the bat paper.
Yeah.
And the bat paper has no time.
Yeah, you know, he's on the bat pewter.
Yeah.
And
But real quick,
Yeah.
the idea of crossing over with Looney Tunes,
Yeah.
there is a comic run
I'm sure.
of like DC and the Looney Tunes because they're owned by Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
yeah.
So there's a whole comic book idea with that, and I'm like, that's just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
They did. I remember this, and I don't know exactly where it came from because I was too young, I think. But when I was a kid, there were like either Burger King or McDonald's toys, and it would be like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
But you could snap on a Superman costume on him and Daffy Duck, and you could snap on a Batman one.
the Duck Knight makes sense for Daffy.
Yeah, for
Tasmanian Devil, you could snap on the Flash thing, but I don't know like what that came from or why they did it. I just remember I had
Don't
them.
you think
and I really liked
Roadrunner
them.
should be the Flash?
Yeah.
I know, of course. They just were trying to, Taz was big.
Yeah.
Taz was too big.
That's when Chuck got
Taz
big.
Fever.
Yeah, Taz Fever.
But
That's
yeah,
where you developed your whole personality.
that's my my pitch to bring in heroes from different eras.
I like that.
I think
I
you
like
can
it.
have
Yeah.
some fun with the campiness versus the broodiness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be. See, that's the kind of crossover I think would be like the real fun way to do it.
Yeah.
like they should do
Yeah.
the big summer blockbuster, whatever. Then they should be like, we're doing a half-hour special
Yeah,
on HBO Max,
Yeah.
and it's going to be this special crossover thing.
The idea of Cesar Romero or that style
Yeah.
of Joker
Yeah.
becoming hyper violent
That's fun.
Yeah, that is cool.
really fun.
was kind of like the inciting incident behind this whole thing.
Can I give you a little idea for writing?
Of course.
So you know how you said
If
Lex
you hold your pen,
Lex Luthor, you said, has the Joker makeup,
Yeah.
and Joker mysteriously died.
Yeah.
I think that what you should make it is so that he reveals that even though he's so much more like rich and powerful than the Joker, no one ever respected him as a villain as much as the Joker.
Yeah.
And so he's the one that killed him to take
Yeah.
on his persona.
He
he
definitely
has a
killed
reason.
him and framed Batman.
Yes.
And the idea of I was like, oh man, maybe we could bring in like a lot of different people, but only one Joker, with the idea that the Jokers have somehow
Amalgamated.
fought.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if there was a multiverse situation, and I don't know if the comics have covered this because I kind of check out. I read a lot of comics, but I kind of check out when it gets into a lot of like crossover now.
Yeah.
because it's kind of become it's too much now.
Right.
But I do think if the Joker were to experience a multiverse kind of thing,
Yeah.
I think he would be a Highlander guy where he was like, I'm going to kill all the other
Right.
Jokers.
Well-
because it is chaotic. It's chaos incarnate. If there's multiple of us, we'll never team up.
Right.
We're going to have to kill each
Right.
other. Oh, there was
yeah, 3 Jokers. I was
the
gonna
3
say,
Jokers.
I read it.
Yeah. So did I.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
But yeah, I really like it. I like the idea of like a Christian Bale Batman in a fight that is an Adam West style
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
where there's booms and pows and
Yes.
he's like, what the hell is going on? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's
well,
fun.
and the idea of the gadgets.
Yeah.
Right. Because
And
they're-
the goons having striped shirts and wearing like
Yeah.
a mask
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, that's fun.
That
And
is fun.
Bale is like beating them bloody.
Yeah.
You know what they should?
And they're like, oh my God, stop.
That's what James Gunn should do. He's like, listen, we know we're starting over. We're wiping the slate clean. Here's the last movie, and it is this crossover.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna get fucking nuts with it and do it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that
fun.
idea. That's good
Yeah,
stuff. buddy.
good stuff for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you. Traditionally, Ray goes second on our pitch doctors.
Yeah.
Is
What
that
do
what
you
we're
got,
following?
Ray? Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
sure.
So.
Yeah. I'm the cream.
Well, mine's
in this
only 49 pages long this time.
Oreo. Yeah, I already was worried where you're like, yeah, these are the pages. And I went, pages? I have a page and a half. That's it.
All right.
So
All right, everyone, picture this. Ray
close your
wakes
eyes.
up.
Close your eyes. Even if you're driving, close your eyes.
Ray takes a shower.
Yes.
Yep.
He goes to the bathroom.
put on my
You
makeup.
think it's a dookie, but it just sounds like liquids.
It's thick pee. It's thick piss. All
you know what I
right.
hate? Can I throw this out there?
Oh, no.
Usual Suspects.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that Kevin Spacey's like this? How he talks about his piss is syrupy, and he says syrupy.
Oh, I don't like when people say
Disgusting.
syrup.
Oh, I like maple syrup.
Syrup?
We say syrup.
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 I say scissorp.
Some people say syrup.
Yeah, but we had a whole intervention for you to stop having scissor.
You know who says syrup?
Didn't work.
Chris Rock on that famous Toss Salad Man sketch. I mean, like the bit.
Yeah.
He says, "I prefer syrup."
Yeah.
He says syrup.
I say syrup.
I say syrup, maple syrup.
Syrup. Yeah, I think it's a Rhode Island thing that people say syrup.
I don't think it's that.
Okay.
But I think it's Kevin Spacey says like it's almost like Kevin Spacey in that movie. I think he's good.
Yeah.
But that one line is like he's
Sure.
looking at a page and going, "My piss is syrupy." Like it's delivered.
Syrupy.
It's delivered so woodenly.
Yeah.
And it's a bizarre line.
I want to know what our listeners say, listener viewers.
You say syrup or syrup or
the syrup is not a thing. I think it's syrup or syrup.
no.
I think what you're referring to is like a mispronunciation or like a
people. Do you think
an
people say
outlier.
syrup ever?
Syrup?
I'm sure that people do. I don't think.
I think it's an
I don't
outlier.
Think it's common. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the common.
Chris Rock said syrup.
Okay, you're two people, but the common thing is syrup and syrup are the two
prefer
common.
syrup.
All right, so we've established Chris Rock said it. Good, we got the facts out there.
I will say scissorp sounds like it comes from syrup.
Yes.
What?
Scissorp is like a. It's like a.
No, I know
drink.
what scissorp is.
Yeah. I'm addicted to it.
You're saying it comes from
the word syrup.
syrup or syrup? Where the fuck are we right now?
Syrup.
I think we were in your bathroom.
You're still trying to establish syrup?
I'm not. I hate syrup.
No, Chuck has said the worst thing that Kevin Spacey has ever done.
Yeah, is
say-
mispronounced
is
syrup.
that line reading. Yeah.
I hate
But
it.
I think the common thing is syrup versus syrup, and I want to get to a place on that, right?
Yeah, right in.
I'm
yeah.
okay not being anywhere on it.
How do you?
Oh, all right.
I'd say.
what a
I'd say-
waffler. Oddly, ironically, the waffler
That's
doesn't
what I
want.
was going for.
Well, Brad
right.
says pecan. He never says pecan ever.
Yeah.
He says pecan.
Yeah. So you say syrup, I say syrup. You abstain.
I
You're like, I'll just take butter.
It's weird because I'm like, how do I say it? And I'm too in my head about it now. It's
Yeah.
like, what do I do with my arms when I walk? If you're thinking about it, it's not natural.
To me, it's one of those weird things. When I hear syrup, it does it hits a certain nerve in my cortex where I'm like,
That's how I feel
It's
about
syrup.
That's
It's
how I
syrup.
feel about syrup and pecan.
we're saying the same thing, are we not? Or no?
No, I'm saying the opposite. You're saying you don't like syrup. I'm saying I
Yeah.
don't like syrup.
Okay, it's just because you said SERP so many times. I don't
And
know which one you're
Brad
talking
says Best Buy.
about. Best Buy,
Yeah, I
Isn't that weird?
not Best Buy.
no.
He says,
right.
let's have a pecan and go to Best Buy. And I'm like, where are we?
Are we
what
in Canada?
world do we live in?
Is this Canada?
Let's get a pecan.
And we'll have some maple syrup.
I say make maple spur up. So
Maple stirrups. But write in funbearablepod@gmail.com. How do you say that word?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. How do you say syrup or syrup?
Yes.
Right.
SYRUP.
See, I grew up in Connecticut for the first chunk of time in my life where language was embedded in my brain.
Yeah.
So, and then I grew up in Maine. So I don't have like a Maine accent, but I don't have a Rhode Island accent. And the Rhode Island stuff is insane to me.
Maybe Stephen Griss would be a good, he lives in Canada.
Okay.
So maple syrup is like from that area. Kind
Also,
of.
maple syrup is from that area as well.
I haven't heard
We're
of
gonna
that.
fight. We're gonna fight after this.
also
Also, the home of Best Buy.
also maple stirrups.
Maple
Famous.
syrup.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
the Mounties stay on their horses.
Oh, I keep saying something. Oh, I keep saying protein.
Protein.
Ooh, yeah, you do keep saying
like
that.
poutine.
Yeah.
Well, I say,
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is, I used to say protein, and now I say protein bar. And it's
All right.
fucking me up.
That is weird.
Chuck is protein.
Continue. Let's move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Let's move
How
forward.
did when did at some point we stopped?
It was
Let's go.
it was
Keep
it was
going.
it was your BM.
Okay, so at some point we should edit something out. I don't know what should be edited out, but
nuts.
all of it. All right, so we're in the studio executive
Yes.
table, the big wooden table, big wooden
It's
table.
intimidating.
That table cost more than what they're negotiating with the writers for right now.
Right.
Right. Stand with the union.
We're pro union.
pro union or pre union.
Pronoun.
Pro
Wait,
onion.
No.
P-R-O-U-N.
No, this is
It's
never
close.
So, and this is my pitch to the Warner Brothers DC executives.
Yes.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for having me.
Gentlemen of the jury.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy shouldn't be here. It's just somebody. No, not you. Just somebody who got canceled. Sure, you can get the cool moments from DC movies that everyone loves from across all of their movies over the last 4 decades. Right?
Yeah.
Batman, 89.
Yep.
God damn, it's been almost 40 years.
Yeah.
All the moments from all those movies, like Michael Keaton Batman,
Yep.
or Michael Keaton Batman's yellow bat symbol, right? That's everybody knows that. Or Michael Keaton Batman's Batmobile.
Yep.
These are all moments we love and cherish from DC over 40 years
Yeah.
of movies. Things like Michael Keaton Batman saying something that Michael Keaton Batman would say.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman is what he would
You
say.
want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah. The DC cinematic universe is a carefully laid out and interconnected thing, a finely woven fabric that is very easy to follow. Right? All of this is true. But what if we expanded our scope? What if we pulled in more comic book influence? If DC has had such a rough road to get to this point, why not embrace it? It's like Pa Kent always used to say, when you're in a shitstorm, sometimes the best thing to do is just open your mouth and get chewing.
That's really good. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, I did.
That's really fun.
No, Pa Kent did.
Classic Iowa.
Yeah. And so I propose we embrace the weirdest moments in DC comics that haven't aged well at all.
Oh, good. I hope there's Martin Luther King bombs.
Fold them into our movies. Commit to something, finally. right? Commit to something and let that something be this. Here are just some of the real storylines in DC history that I think it's time to make come alive on the big screen or direct to streaming. This should all be in one single movie.
Good.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
New villain. We're introducing a new villain
Good.
from the 80s, a Colombian villain from the 80s comics who legitimately got his powers from cocaine.
Oh boy.
Snowflame.
I love Snowflame. That's great.
Snowflame as a villain.
Oh, you got such a good brain.
Let me. I'm sorry. Just a real quick aside.
Yeah.
I'm in the '80s. I'm working on my comic book. I'm like, I gotta think of a name for this villain.
Snowflame is cool.
And meanwhile, your inker is doing rails.
There's only one man who can help me name this character.
Hello?
George, I need your help.
What if you call him Snow Flame?
Perfect. Thanks, George.
It's hot and cold. Oh, never mind.
Hello?
But that is a real villain from the 80s in DC Comics.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
thought
cool.
I created it. You're like, you got such a good brain in there. No, it was the 80s. These are all going to be plot points in the one movie.
Yeah.
In the DC crossover movie. All right.
Yeah.
So
we're
going through things.
At DC, we say you can't shoehorn enough plot points into a movie. Just get more and more of them in there.
DC, too many characters welcome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
New villain, Snowflame.
Yep.
We introduce him in the beginning. Maybe he lasts throughout the whole movie. Maybe he just gets wiped out. We don't know, right? And then we're going to introduce from the Silver Age of comics, like 55 to 70 is the Silver Age of comics. Not ages, times. 1955
Right.
to 1970. Supergirl,
Okay.
Nice.
right? We're introducing a new kind of relationship situation in her life. She has a super horse named Comet,
Right. Makes sense.
and Comet, through thought bubbles in the comics, because this was in the comics, but we'll do it with a voiceover. We can get maybe Bradley Cooper to do the voice of the horse,
Oh,
right?
he's great at voices.
Right. So he plays Comet, who wants to bang Supergirl.
Oh.
Who is in love with Supergirl, and at one point makes a wish, becomes human, and they have a relationship.
I love it.
Horse Baby, a National Enquirer.
Yeah.
love that.
So you know the term like a horse girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, Supergirl's a horse girl.
Ah.
Yeah. There's a lot of Equus shit going on here.
Yeah.
Green Lantern. Let's bring him in.
Yes.
Right? We had one Green Lantern movie, didn't do so well. Time to reintroduce the Green Lantern with Hal Jordan.
Okay.
Again, these are all things that happened in the comics. Hal Jordan meets another hero of the Lantern Corps.
Okay.
A 13-year-old girl named Aricia, who refers to her as a little sister.
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
They join up, they're fighting, they're doing different
That's
things.
really good.
A really, familial relationship,
Yeah,
right?
it's very
He's a
important
big
to-
brother, she's a little sister.
Yep.
She has a crush on Hal. Oh, she's 13. Isn't
Yeah.
that sweet?
Yeah.
That's cute,
Makes
right?
sense, yeah.
Her lantern ring kind of feels the wish in her and makes her body age up to about Hal's age, like a 20-something.
Does like her brain age? Like
She's
is-
still a 13-year-old girl.
but just in the body of
Just
a
in the body of a
20-something-year-old woman.
20-something, yeah. Then Hal and Aricia have a sexual relationship for a good long while. At one point, Hal is worrying about what the Justice League will think. I'm not even kidding. And Hal Jordan says in the comic,
This whole storyline's real?
Yeah.
I thought the girl was real and you turned
I'm
this
not
into
making
you're
shit
sick.
up. I'm taking real shit from the comics over the history of comic books and saying, put them in.
That's all, yeah.
DC, you've got a fucked up cinematic universe
Right.
that makes no sense. You've restart everything 50 times. Every character has 30 actors that play them. Fuck it. Go for the fucking fences. You know what I mean? Swing
right.
for the fences. Hal Jordan says, when he's in this relationship with a 13-year-old girl in a 20-something body, says about the Justice League, it'll take some time. I have to show them I'm not a child molester. That was in the comics.
Hey, listen,
Green Lantern.
First of all, we've all said that at one point or another.
Look who's Darth Pedophilius now.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just real quick look up who wrote that initial run of Green Lantern. It says C statement. That's
Hold
weird.
on. Can I just put something in Funbearable history? Brad's birthday is the same birthday as Bad Boy. That's all I'm going to say. I looked it up.
Did you get your ears clipped?
They've always looked
You
like
went to a vet?
Watch, scare him and take a picture and put it next to
Viewer listeners, I know some of you like Photoshop. You've got a job to do.
No, you don't. You're fired.
Brad Boy, are you kidding me?
Brad Boy.
Brad Boy.
I hate it. I hate it all.
Brad Boy. Brad Boy.
I didn't like the Quaker Oats thing, and I don't
Can
like
you just
this.
for fun, just so in case somebody needs like a still image,
Nah.
just make the face? Can you just go?
I'm okay. I feel like I'm going to make that face whether I want to or not when Chuck reads his 49-page
Oh my
magnum
God. Yeah,
opus over here.
I'm gonna melt like a wax figure.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? All right. Let's keep moving. We're in the pitch. We've taken
Okay.
too long.
Yeah.
The executives are getting restless.
The executives are like, what, why are they talking
I'll
about
get their
Brad Boy?
attention back
Okay, good.
with an existing IP. Watch out, Aquaman.
We know that guy.
Your villain, Black Manta, is going to kidnap your infant son, Aqua Baby.
Not a great name.
It's in the comics.
Hey, George.
Yeah. Aqua Baby?
Thanks, George.
water.
Hey, listen, Aquaman had a baby. What do you think? Okay, yep, got it. Bye.
George goes, hold on 1 second. Water synonyms. Baby synonyms.
Baby.
Let's just stick with baby.
Watch out, Aquaman, right?
Yeah.
Black Manta
Yeah.
kidnapped your child, Aqua Baby,
Yeah,
your
I don't like
infant
that.
son. Then he's going to make you fight your sidekick, Aqua Lad. But during that fight, your child, Aqua Baby, still dies, and you divorce your wife, Queen Mara, because of the aqua grief. Coming soon in Aquaman 2.
Aqua grief
I
is
know-
hilarious.
I know Aqua
grief
Grief.
is great.
Oh, there's so many aqua.
Yeah, of course. It's great.
I wish in the actual comic it was like, I just can't handle all this aqua grief.
yeah.
Aqua grievous.
I love that. It's ridiculous. So that happened.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's Aqua Baby. Aqua Baby died.
I also love Aqua Baby and Aqua Lad, or two different characters.
Yeah. I wonder how Aqua Lad felt when Aqua Baby was born.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they were like, oh, really? Okay, what happens when Aqua Baby gets bigger? What are you going to call him then? Aqua Boy? How does Aqua Lad feel about
Yeah.
that? Maybe Aqua Lad had Aqua Baby killed.
Yeah, it could be.
Ooh, it's a real Cain and Abel
And
situation.
now he's an Aqua adolescent.
Aqua Cain. Now let's get into our real situation here.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody get Amy Adams on the phone.
Yes.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
It's time for Lois Lane.
If I could call Amy Adams.
That's your song, right?
Are you one of the
Whenever-
Batmen? Sort of.
I'm Brad Boy. I'm Brad Boy.
Bat boy.
So it's time for Amy Adams to step up and have more of a story in here, other than just carrying a spear over to another guy.
Yeah.
Or going, I'm real worried about you, Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lois Lane has been worrying about the plight of others
Oh, that's good.
in this climate.
Yeah.
In this social climate.
A lot going on.
With the BLM movement and racial discourse in the news, intrepid reporter Lois Lane wants to learn more about the struggles of others.
Oh, no.
By getting into a special pod that
Oh,
Superman has for some reason and turning herself into a black woman. Amy Adams, get the makeup out. Now she can get the scoop on Metropolis's black neighborhood called Little Africa.
Oh, Amy.
The climax of the story is that Lois gives blood for an injured black activist in the 60s and changes back into an upper-class white woman and is happy to find that they accept her even though she's white. That's a good message.
Yeah, this is a
Isn't
good
that just
message.
a good message?
It's a good message.
It's a good...
We could all do
hey,
with that.
Hey, black people use white blood. Okay, it's fine.
And I also, to really hammer this home, I know that is a real story.
Yeah, I have the comic,
Wow.
the cover
Yeah.
of it because I like the idea. So I started collecting a few covers that just don't hold up in
Right.
time. And the Lois Lane getting in the chamber and becoming a black woman,
Yeah.
that was the one that I wanted the most because
Yes.
it's so visually like this should not exist.
Oh,
I gotta say,
I have that and Batgirl with a run in her tights while Batman and Robin are fighting. She's like, "Oh no, I can't fight with a run in my tights."
yeah,
So it's
I have
horrible.
a really cool one I want to get signed. It's the National Enquirer with Batboy on the cover, and
who's gonna sign it?
I really am hoping that.
You know, it's weird because
Someday.
I'm like these glasses are on my forehead.
yeah.
What
Brad
are they?
boy.
What are they covering up?
Now let's start folding in some of the TV property.
Good,
Okay.
yes, thank
the
goodness.
execs are chomping at the bit. How do
Yeah.
we bring in that sweet CW money?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's time to bring in the Green Arrow.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Think Hawkeye as a staunch socialist.
Okay.
Right? That's who the Green Arrow is.
Yeah.
He's the Hawkeye of DC, only he's for some reason like independently wealthy, but sort of like comes from money.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
his dad had the money, but then is suddenly like, hey, social problems exist. So I guess I'll shoot arrows at them.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of maybe just set up another organization to help do stuff.
Right.
It's like Bruce Wayne, where it's like, hey, I want to do things, but I'm incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
I could probably start a lot of good programs, but instead I'm going to spend that money on developing tech and becoming a man of the shadows
Yes.
to beat up poor people, I guess.
Hurt people. Hurt people.
Originally, when Batman started, there was a kind of through line of like, because he was a rich playboy.
Yeah.
This is a real social issue, and I'm sorry about it. There was an idea of kind of like he's protecting, because when he first started, he was only going after like robbers and thieves, like muggers,
Yeah.
like street muggers.
It
and
wasn't
stuff.
super dark for the villains.
And it wasn't big stories. It was just
Right.
like this mugger is doing a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it did feel like a rich white person finally had enough and was going to now become a vigilante against all of these poor people who are criminals.
Right.
Right.
There was a real feeling of that. Isn't that weird? Anyway,
I believe that.
it's time to bring in the Green Arrow,
Good.
right?
Thank heavens.
He's the rich socialist.
Yes.
He's super left and vocal about it. He'd hate what Lois Lane did. Right? But it's time to bring him over from the CW and onto the big streaming screen.
Good.
He'll be bringing his sidekick as well.
Oh. All right. Good.
His name is Roy,
Oh, nice.
but he goes by Speedy.
Okay.
Confusing when there's a flash.
Yeah.
Speedy sounds fast, but he's got the opposite problem. He's not fast. He slows down a lot
Oh, okay.
because he's addicted to heroin.
Oh.
And we can finally see the scene that's an infamous DC Comics cover when the Green Arrow finds Speedy shooting up. There's a cover with the Green Arrow and Green Lantern team up to find Speedy because they think he's dead.
They're using green powers.
And they find him in a fucking heroin den shooting up. And they're like, Speedy, no! And he's crying. So it's a real... Anyway, that's in the comics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get to our biggest hero, Superman.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Not box office biggest.
No.
That's
Right.
Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
Superman. Let's find out what he's doing in this movie.
Yes, let's.
Superman along with Big Barda. That's a character we haven't seen yet.
Nope.
Right.
It's a character from the comics. She's think Wonder Woman if she grew up bad but is doing good.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. She comes from the dark side world.
Right.
Right. And she's married to Mr. Miracle. Big Barda, good character. The Mr. Miracle run that happened a few years back was like one of the best. It was so good. So anyway, Superman and Big Barda are kidnapped and brainwashed by a villain named Sleaze.
All right. Apt name.
Yeah.
What's that? Hello? Have you thought about Sleazius? So this bad villain named Sleaze, what do you think he's about, right? Well, Sleaze lives up to his name when he brainwashes Superman and Big Barda to shoot a porno movie.
Is that real?
This is real.
That's amazing.
This is real. I am not kidding. They made a porn. Later, Sleaze gets away and kills himself. Sorry, spoiler alert for my big DC crossover movie. Sleaze, after making Superman and Big Barda do a porn together, he gets away and kills himself.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know what I'll do. and it's just like him building a porn set.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is in the comic
Right.
book. There's panels where it's like clearly like a shitty set.
Right.
Yeah.
With the lights and everything. And there's
Yeah.
a bed and it's
Yeah.
Superman and Big Barda sitting on that bed.
Yeah. I love it.
It's insane.
That
We're
is
almost
insane.
done.
Yeah.
We're not done with racism yet.
That's a problem.
Right, Lois
Yeah.
Lane over
Still
there.
a problem.
It's time to introduce one of the most racist villains of all time. This is the big bad.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, racism. is the big bad.
Snowflame, he was just the starter. He was the cold open.
Okay.
The pre-credits sequence.
Right.
Where they do away with the cocaine-addled Snowflame, right?
Right.
Then we get a little side thing with Sleaze.
Yep.
You know, Superman's having sex with Big Barda for a porno,
Yep.
while Lois Lane is in blackface trying to find out what's going on in Little Africa. Fuck me.
I would love to see this.
Oh, sure, yeah. Here we go. We're introducing one of the most racist villains of all time.
Okay.
Wonder Woman 1984 was a horrible, boring mess. But get ready for Wonder Woman 1965 to be just as horrible, but not at all boring, when we introduce Egg Foo. A giant egg with the face of a racist Chinese stereotype that looks like it's from a propaganda poster from World War II.
Yeah.
It's a giant egg,
Yeah.
like city-size egg, Godzilla-size egg.
Yeah.
But the whole egg is a face. And it's a Fu Manchu
Yeah.
egg foo.
Now is Egg Foo old or?
Egg foo young, yeah.
Yep.
So, oh boy. His mustache acts as his arms, complete with dialogue written phonetically, replacing L's with R's.
Whoa!
We get to see Wonder Woman's love interest, Steve, played by Chris Pine.
Oh,
Cool.
good. Yeah.
Right?
He's good.
Punching Chinese people
Oh,
and saying, quote, "Gotta send these chopstick Charlies to Dreamland."
Chris Pine.
Can that be the movie tagline?
Sorry, we're not doing a Dungeons and Dragons 2. Why? What
do you mean?
Yeah, what happened? Gotta send these chopstick Charlies to Dreamland. Oh,
Gross.
my God.
Gross.
So, if maybe we could pull up a picture of
the-
Egg Foo,
Of the real,
the real Egg Foo.
yeah, the comic that was produced by
Yeah,
DC.
yeah. Not just a crude drawing that Brad did. This is the new Bradley drawing. It's the Egg Foo storyline.
The new
Gotta
Brad-
send these chopstick Charlies to Dreamland. Here's what it looks like. And then finally,
All right, now be them. Be them.
finally, the big climax of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman shakes off his brainwashing by
Right.
Sleaze. After Sleaze killed himself, I
Right.
think the brainwashing wore off, and
Yeah,
he's like,
of course.
There's a scene in the movie.
He's like, wait a minute, I don't want to do pornography as Superman.
Well, there's a scene in the movie that's very Me, Myself, and Irene. Superman goes to pee,
yeah.
and his pee goes off in crazy directions.
Right.
And
And
then
he has to get kryptonite to
he's holding it. He's like, whoa, whoa. And then he comes out and talks to Big Barda, and he's like, I just peed like I had sex all night long.
Yeah.
And my penis does hurt.
And
as
we're,
Superman, that's a rare thing.
we're on
Yeah.
a set and there's a
Yeah.
camera pointed at the bed.
It's chafed severely. And Barda's like, I mean, my pussy's beat up.
Yeah.
What happened? Right? I hope
I'd love
I'm
to
not
see
pregnant.
you as Big
Yeah.
Barda.
Me?
Yeah, like
She doesn't look, just because her name sounds like she's a big beefy
No, that's
gal.
not what I meant because of your voice.
Oh, Big Barda?
Yeah, you're like
No, she's
My
like
pussy's beat
she's
up.
just like an Amazon.
that could be another
Amazonian
tagline.
woman.
Each
Yeah.
character could have their
Every poster, it's all the character posters. My pussy's beat up. Let's send these chopstick Charlies to Dreamland.
If they did this, you know how much money they'd
Amy
make?
Adams in blackface, no quote there. It just says, "Yep, I did it." Finally,
No, it's just yup with a big period.
yup, and it's her just shrugging like this. I can't believe we're hearing this. Again, these were all things from the comics.
Yeah.
I can't believe we are here. But I'll just cut to the chase. All right. Superman discovers pink kryptonite. We all know what happens. Yes, it's exactly that. Pink kryptonite makes Superman gay.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole issue.
That's a real story?
Yes, with pink kryptonite. It turns him gay.
I love this.
That is from 2003.
Whoa! What does he do? What does he do when he's gay?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
I didn't read it
Films
either. I didn't even
films
hear
a
about
different porno.
Yeah,
It's
he
funny-
films a very different porno.
It's funny because some of these big moments are kind of like not necessarily the ones you use, but there's
Yeah.
some that are just like in the pop culture sphere. I've never heard of the pink.
Never heard of
kryptonite
pink
one.
kryptonite.
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably
There
for
was
the
a
best.
Three Doors Down song about it that didn't make it to the album.
Yeah. It's the original cut.
Would you still call me Superman?
If I go if I go gay, if I go gay, would you still call me Superman?
Oh no, Superman goes gay. That's so weird. It's such a weird phrasing. But yeah, there was a real comic book story beat.
2003 is too late to have that storyline.
Well, listen, the way
when
I
do you
looked
think
at
it's
it,
appropriate for it?
you know,
no.
2002.
I think somewhere around punching Chinese people and calling them Chopstick Charlie, probably then they would have an outlook that's not great, right?
These are both such great ideas. I love
Thank
this.
you.
This
Yeah.
is amazing.
And I will say about the pink kryptonite, it was 2003. The only thing I could think of is like the nation was still healing
Yes.
from 9/11. I would draw a direct line. There is a correlation
Yeah.
there
What- I
of
wonder
9/11 happening and then pink kryptonite.
Yeah.
I wonder what he did in the comic. Do you think it was like the way he dressed or the way he acted?
I don't.
He's not
I
going to have
don't-
sex with men in a comic book.
No, not in a comic. He's not going to have sex with anybody. It's all sexless.
Right.
But I don't know. What if he was just like, oh, I can't even like. What if it was just super effeminate, like ridiculous cliche?
I mean, was Will and Grace on at that time?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
That sounds like
I
it
hope.
seems like it is.
I hope not, because that would.
That would mean that Gabe had progressed.
No, because what I'm thinking is that takes place in New York City, and at that time, all the shows dealt with it. Is there a Will and Grace really serious episode where 9/11 happens?
I think that Will and Grace was not on in 2001, but I would imagine it started by the end of Friends, which is 2004, right?
No, Will and Grace was before.
2001.
I think so.
Oh wow, maybe you're right. It's hard. It's hard for me to
Look it up, Brad boy. Look
Look
it up.
Bat Boy. Look it up, Bat Boy. Look it up, Bat Boy.
Is that him with fangs?
That's when he Googles.
Yeah.
It started in 1998.
That's,
Wow. So they
yeah.
did have it. Maybe they did. Well,
They
Friends,
had a very special episode.
Friends didn't do a 9/11 episode though.
No,
So I don't know.
they ignored it.
yeah.
Is Brad looking that up now?
No,
They were
I'm
too
looking up
self-absorbed.
Pink,
No,
pink
I'm just kidding.
kryptonite.
I love.
I need to find out. Oh, you're looking up pink kryptonite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
But that was a great idea. That was seriously. I love that idea.
Yeah, because we talked a little bit. Like I struggled to think of a way to approach this.
Yes.
And I started with my like little thesis statement of like how sloppy
Yeah, of
the
course.
DC film universe is.
Yeah.
It's the sloppiest thing. So trying to latch on to find a legitimate thing
Yeah.
is like next to impossible because they're doing the same thing. They're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, is this it?
I know.
And that's why when I was thinking of this big crossover event movie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what are they pulling from? And I think literally the only thing that people can be like, oh shit, is Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the rumors that I heard are true.
Yeah, but even that stuff I think is like
It's pretty weird.
it's also like having Henry Cavill as Superman for a moment is like, okay. Because also, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to have the guy that was in that one Superman movie before? Remember the Superman Returns?
Brandon
Brandon
Routh.
Ruth.
Yeah,
Ruth.
yeah. Like what?
I know.
Okay.
That's how
wow. They have Brandon Routh Superman.
I feel that way too. I mean, as of this recording, none of us have seen it. None of us really know much about it besides the trailers.
Can I be honest? I saw it.
Okay. There you go.
I saw it.
All right.
I was in it. I played Big Barda.
It's everything I wrote.
See, it's like to me, it's like just going off the top of my head. The only thing that I think people would really react to,
Is Michael Keaton Batman?
well, Michael Keaton's Batman is the obvious thing, but I
Yeah.
mean that's in the movie that we don't know about. Would be, I guess, the CW shows, but I wonder if they're not well known enough because I don't know them.
Yeah.
And B, the Christian Bale Batman stuff is very famous.
Sure.
It's hard for me. I don't know if I see him doing that, or Nolan being down.
But
with
again,
that.
if that happens, it's sort of like Okay.
But then it's
You
like
know?
there's the Dean Cain Superman,
Yeah.
and then there was the show Smallville, and those are
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
things
yeah.
that I really know about.
Yeah, it's
Because Christopher Reeve is not alive.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
and
weird one.
Val Kilmer and George Clooney, but that seems a little kooky.
Yeah, that's an odd one. I don't know. I don't know what
I
to
agree
do.
with you. I agree with you. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movie, those movies were so much feels more like separate and had separate
Yes.
directors and identities.
Yes.
And I agree. The DC stuff has been so much sloppier that there's not so
Yeah.
much of a separation where it feels different.
And also, it was a different situation where, like, the Spider-Man movies, like the first two actors of those Spider-Man movies were taking on franchise stuff that was completely separate from anything else, right?
Yes,
It was
right.
pre MCU.
for sure.
And then you have the MCU established.
Yes.
And then they created Spider-Man to bring into it with Tom
Yes.
Holland. So bringing in this other thing, it's very similar to like the X-Men. The X-Men exist outside of the
Yes,
MCU,
right.
Right.
and there's always talk of like we're gonna do it, and everybody that's everybody's theory for every single thing that's about to
Yeah,
come out.
yeah.
The X-Men are going to be in it.
Yeah.
So it is an odd thing where it's like that's like its own separate thing.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, and DC.
It
Doesn't matter because they don't have a DCU like an MCU.
Right.
You want to hear
know?
something? You made this point. I just realized there is a reason for this. In the 90s, Marvel was going bankrupt. So they sold the TV and movie rights to all these characters.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had these disparate studios making all these different versions of it. So you do have these clear delineated characters.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers always owned DC. So
Yeah.
they kept being like, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? And it's all much more sloppy.
Yeah,
Because they
none
all
of
were
it
under the
is
same
unified.
umbrella.
There's no cohesion there.
That's
And
interesting.
Even their attempt at cohesion has been
Yeah.
bad. You know what I mean? Like the
That's
closest
really-
thing to an attempt is Batman versus Superman and Justice League.
Yeah.
Both of those are rough stuff, right?
Right.
Depending on who you are. If you're a big
Right.
Zack Snyder person, if you're
Right.
the Snyderverse person,
Yeah.
they're great.
I know. I
But
don't get it either. I know.
It's bad.
And I'm the type of person that looks for the good stuff, so I can see, like, I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I have
Yeah.
a couple things, but yeah, I completely agree, and it's really strange.
Right, and like even with doing the Spider-Man kind of crossover,
Mm-hmm.
even then you have characters that are so established.
Yeah.
right. You have two different Spider-Mans that had multiple movies each, one with 2 and one with 3.
Yeah.
Then Tom Holland, who had multiple movies plus being in other movies from the Marvel universe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All 3 Spider-Men were very established.
Yeah.
The problem with DC is they're constantly trying again. So
Yeah.
all of their characters to pull from,
Right.
You're right.
the longest running would be Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
Christian Bale
Yeah.
is like the longest running.
For sure.
And they've already kicked that off.
Yeah.
And like, no, that's not happening. Now it's Ben Affleck.
Right.
And they're going to redo it again. Other than that, it would be Henry Cavill. He's out.
gone, yeah.
Right.
So the only person you can pull from with like stature in that combination is Michael Keaton.
You're right. This is so interesting. I never really thought about this, but Spider-Man No Way Home works because you have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and that gives you Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and it gives you Lizard and Electro. And then you have the Tom Holland Spider-Man that basically gives you Doctor Strange and the MCU.
Yeah,
Right.
all of the
And
MCU.
and
Yeah.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
And those characters got to all kind of make this big piece of a pie.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because it's all separate versions of everybody and separate
Everything
things.
else is like half built.
Exactly.
You
Everything
know,
else is half
it-
built.
Yeah, there's no foundation there to pull from. So that's why this crossover thing that happens with this Flash movie, I'm like, I don't care. I know I sound shitty and bitter or cynical, but it's truly because there's just nothing behind it. Like the movie is the Flash movie.
Yeah.
I don't fucking give a shit about the Flash because we haven't had an opportunity to care. Ezra Miller is a problem. Right? Like a massive problem.
That should be the tagline for this movie.
Yeah, Ezra Miller is a problem. It's insane. So you have that, and then it's like, well, what do we know about the Flash? that he's been like a tertiary character in one other movie.
I know. And there was a different version of him in one of the movies.
And it's
pulling from a
like,
different
what is
timeline.
this? Who? Why? What's going on?
Can I give you a funny Saturday Night Live sketch about this?
Sure, sure.
They're like, what should the tagline be? And they'll be like, oh, take him and put on the cover, put he's a problem. It's like, okay. The next week they get the things back, like, all right, all the posters are out, all the TV ads are up. All right. It's like, so it's a tagline is just the Flash is a problem. That's really cool. And the guy that did it is like, well, you pointed to him and you said, this guy's the problem. And the DC exec is like, yeah, so like the Flash is a problem. He's like, I put Ezra Miller is a problem on every one of the posters that's going across the country. And that would be, that's such a funny idea because in the movie, the Flash is a problem.
Right.
It makes perfect sense. And in real life, Ezra Miller is a problem.
It's wild that we're in a territory. It is truly crazy where we can go, hey, this big property, this giant DC property that they're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at.
Yes.
Is hinging on a guy who is a bit of a monster.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller. And then you go, or you could just say, hey, this huge comic book property that is, billions of dollars are hinging on it. There's a real problem person that is at the center of the focus. And you go, oh, yeah, Ezra Miller. And then they go, no, Jonathan Majors.
Exactly.
Marvel and DC have both put their eggs in monster baskets.
You want to hear what I really think, though? This is just my side thing. I won't go off on a tangent. I think there's probably a lot of people floating around these movies on both sides.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Where they're like pushing their closets closed and the skeletons are all reaching out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still crazy that it's like these two
I agree.
people. And from what I've heard, Ezra Miller is a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he was in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah, I think he's good as an actor.
And I loved Jonathan Majors.
too.
I was so excited to see what Jonathan Majors was going to do with his career.
Yes.
I was a big fan.
Yes.
I really was. I was banging the drum for Jonathan Majors.
I know.
And I just can't now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I mean, you're a great actor, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll tell you this, and I don't want to. I'm not going to say too much about it. The bad guy in Guardians 3, I think it's one of the best performances as a villain in any of the MCU movies. And if I was in charge of MCU, I'd say, is there any way we can figure out a way to write this where he takes over for his character? What do you think?
Whatever happens,
I think there's a way.
whatever happens, there's going to be an uncomfortable moment in one of the upcoming movies where they have to be like, oh, he got hit in the face real hard and now he looks like somebody else entirely, right? Like that's what they're going to have to do.
I think maybe we talked about it before. Maybe a different age version of Kang as Jonathan Majors would have to be the way to go, or something like that.
Baby Kang?
Aqua Kang.
Well, no, that's just, you got to have baby in there.
Aqua Baby Kang.
Aqua Baby Kang.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they did just introduce the Marvel version of Aquaman.
Yep.
That's
in
true.
Submariner.
Yep.
That's true.
So Aqua Baby Kang could really be a thing.
Not bad.
And what a great character
So layered.
that they did with Submariner. What a fantastic character they created. You can really feel the push and pull there. Sorry, Submariner is actually an interesting character in the comics. Like, he's a guy who is kind of like, I think I should go against all of the land people, but is also like, I kind of got to destroy anything that's a threat to me, and these guys are fighting those threats. Maybe I should team up with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that stuff in there. And I was not thrilled with
Yeah, I mean,
what they turned it into.
it could turn into something good, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it felt
yeah.
felt very much like a bite-sized version of what this could be.
Yeah.
Just like there's a bunch of characters in recent Marvel movies like that, like the bad guy in Black Widow.
Oh, yeah,
What's the name? I don't even know. Like Phantom, or you know what I'm talking about, right? Ghosty.
No.
Bad man in a suit.
Yeah, it was a woman.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you're
they-
talking about
they-
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Like Taskmaster could be awesome, but it
Yeah.
was nothing.
Yeah. No, I know a lot of the comic bros, Marvel bros, were upset about.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Taskmaster.
I don't really know that much about Taskmaster, but it happens.
Yep.
Hey, in my life, there's only one Taskmaster, and that is the BBC television show Taskmaster.
Yes.
Greg Davis.
All right. So
We're back in the boardroom.
back
we
in
just
the
took a
boardroom.
quick long break.
Oh yeah.
A quick long break.
They were really,
That was a good-
really chewing over Ray's proposal.
That was
Yeah.
I was a really.
They got a phone call from the lawyers about Ezra.
I want to give you a compliment. That was a really good talking point about figuring out the idea of this multiverse thing and why No Way Home felt like it had a lot of meat on the bone, and this is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah. Because there's not much meat there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You're
a
right.
sick chicken.
It's
They
mostly
didn't get any meat.
It's mostly bones.
It's mostly bones. Guys, it's all bones. Oh, oops, all bones. All right, so we're back in the executive office.
Yeah.
We're sitting down.
Yep.
And I'm worried about the amount of paper you've brought. I know it's digital, but in our
paper.
in our mind, it's a big stack.
It is.
Right? Brad seems upset about it.
I am.
Brad's flapping his
I'm
bat wings about it.
furious.
Okay. Well, he's jealous. Bat Boy hasn't been brought in yet as a character. He
I'm waiting to
believes-
see. By the way, I hate it. I hate the idea that somebody's going to Photoshop it. Don't do it.
You know what? Photoshop me as Bat Boy. I'd love it. All right.
Yeah,
Here
but
we
you'd
go.
love anybody photoshopping you into anything. Anything.
It could be like the next Hitler, and it's me. It's Hitler, and I'm like,
somebody could take photos of like POWs and put your face on it, and you'd be like, this should be a T-shirt. This should be a T-shirt, guys. All right, Mr. Satan, let's hear your pitch.
all right, you ready? The screen is black.
I like it.
Yeah,
End
The
it
year
there.
comes up.
Oh, okay.
2023.
that's now.
Yeah.
We open on the entrance sign of Arkham Asylum, and we cut to 2 guards. Guard 1.
Oh, this feels like a whole script.
Tonight's the night. Guard 2. Yep, 15 years since he got put in here. He's been counting down the days, starting at 5,475. That's how many days it's been.
Leap years.
Since the day he got in here at midnight, we hit 0. Guard 1, all hands on deck. All the Arkham Asylum guards are ready. They're trying to prepare themselves for something big. So many soldiers are around the asylum that it's nuts. Guard 2, so what do we do? Guard 1. By the way, this basically goes from like, here's the idea.
This is guard 1 saying this?
No. This is as an idea of a scene.
Yeah.
Then we talk about possibilities. Then we go to the next scene.
You do. I like how you're like. By the way, I wrote half of it, and then we'll finish it together.
Oh no! The conclusion is also written. But,
Yeah.
But there's the fun. I'll put it this way: the fun in games, we can discuss.
Okay.
In between.
Sure, yeah.
Because you'll get it.
Yeah.
Guard 2. So what do we do? Guard 1. We have no idea what he's planning. So we transferred all the big bads to different locations, so he couldn't use them for some kind of distraction. Guard 2. Two-Face. Guard 1. Transferred to Blackgate Prison.
Good.
Guard 2. Harley Quinn. Transferred. Killer Croc. They're all gone. It's just us and him.
Mad Hatter,
The camera slowly pushes on a gigantic
Snowflame?
the ventriloquist,
a gigantic prison door. Ominous music plays.
Calendar Man.
Another guard speaks over the house PA system. Look alive, everyone at their stations. That guard steps away from the mic. All right, Private, we're stationed all over the prison, but you're the most important man on the team tonight. Do you understand me? A sheepish, timid, skinny guard shakes. He meekly replies, yes, sir. Are you sure you can handle this, Private Olson?
I hate it.
Sir, I'll do my best, or my name isn't Private Olson. Jimmy. Private Jimmy Olson.
Why is Jimmy Olsen in the military? Why is the military guarding Arkham?
Why would you put the timid little pipsqueak?
Yeah.
Guard 3. Losers complain about their best. Winners go home. And Guard 1. Sergeant, you're needed in Sector 7. Sergeant, all right, Olson, you stand by his door. No matter what he says, you do not let him out. Do you understand? Jimmy Olsen attempts to salute the sergeant, but he does it too hard and his hand hits his glasses, which flip off his head. He attempts a buttered finger grab as he juggles them around before they crash into the ground.
Hey,
One
this
lens-
guy is a scared idiot. We should have him be the direct guard of the door.
Yeah.
One lens
Somebody
is now
so
cracked.
bad we have to say, don't let him out.
Jimmy smiles, embarrassed. He picks them up quickly and puts them back on upside down.
Oh, God.
The sergeant rolls his eyes. All right. The sergeant turns away and mumbles to himself. This would never happen if you weren't the captain's nephew. The door slams. The sergeant is
Captain
gone.
Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen's alone in the hallway with that big steel ominous door. We hear footsteps behind it. The food slot slowly slides open with a creak. A voice says, Jimmy. Jimmy pretends not to hear it. The voice starts to softly chuckle. Jimmy, I know you can hear me. Jimmy, what do you want? Let me out, Jimmy. I can't do that. Why not? Because of what you did. What was that, Jimmy? You know what you did. Joker. We see one eye in the food slot. We hear more cackling. What did I do, Jimmy? Why am I in here? You robbed Gotham's biggest bank. You blew up a hospital. You terrorized the city. You killed random people until Batman agreed to reveal himself. And you killed Maggie Gyllenhaal. Jake is inconsolable. You almost broke our protector. You almost destroyed the Dark Knight. The Joker laughs loudly. Almost. Almost, Jimmy. But what if I told you that it wasn't my fault? Jimmy. Oh yeah, whose fault is it? Joker. There's a higher power, Jimmy. A higher power with their hands moving us like pawns and kings. And Jimmy, I don't care. It's my job to make sure you stay behind that door. Nothing you can say to make me let you out. Joker, I understand. A beat goes by. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy, yes. Can I please go to the bathroom? You don't have a bathroom in there? No, the only bathroom's the one near the entrance. Jimmy, geez, that's inconvenient. Sure, I have a small bladder too. Jimmy fiddles with the keys and opens the door to the cell for his tiny bladdered new friend. But there's no one inside.
Now, it might take a minute for me to find the key because I'm a total fucking idiot.
Oops, I dropped the keys and I peed on them.
Jimmy
Damn.
walks in with caution. Hello? Mr. Joker? We pull out to reveal the shadowed Joker perched on the top of the door frame. He jumps down into Jimmy's back with a wire across Jimmy's throat. Close up on Jimmy's ear, the Joker's lips enter frame. Joker whispers, "Don't move, Jimmy. This is razor wire." Jimmy, what are you doing? I thought we quickly became friends. Joker, I'm sorry, Jimmy. We need to find out who's controlling us, and then I can be the one. We cut to close on Jimmy's neck. A trickle of blood starts to run as the razor wire tightens around his neck. The Joker looks up, and the light reveals Heath Ledger's Joker. Joker, I can be the one pulling the strings. Jimmy gasps, but from the darkness we hear a voice. The only string you'll be pulling. The Joker perks up. Is the tampon string from the tampon in your bloody anus. Batman
Jesus
kills
Christ.
himself.
There we go. Classic
Chuck. There's
Chuck
Chuck.
Staten dialogue.
He kicks Joker right in the anus. Joker, right in my anus. The Joker collapses into
So this means Batman was hiding that whole time in the cell? In the cell with the Joker.
Maybe he was outside.
He's like, I'll wait for the perfect moment.
The Joker collapses into a...
Fine, who's pulling the strings? This is my moment. The only string you'll be pulling
The Joker
is the tampon in your bloody anus.
Guys don't use tampons. Where can he have that tampon? I guess his anus.
He opens that one compartment in his belt that has tampons.
Yeah.
You never know.
Bat
I'm a
tampon.
very progressive bat.
The Joker collapses into a bloody anus mess. Batman throws him a tampon. And to be clear, we're not making a statement about how women use tampons and the Joker's girly and that's bad. It just so happens that Batman chose to injure Joker's anus, and a tampon's the best way to stop the bleeding.
So I was right. He does have tampons in
Yes.
the utility
It has
room.
nothing to
I
do
think
with-
that's helpful, though.
It has nothing to do with sexism. Just a coincidence.
And he says all of this to Jimmy in the cell.
Also-
this has nothing to do with sex.
Also, we were trying to think of a continuation of the pulling the string line, and that's how it happened. P.S. The way we used Heath Ledger's Joker was approved by his family, and it's actually just from a deleted scene we filmed for Dark Knight, so we're in the clear. This isn't a hologram Paul Walker situation. Jimmy, thank you, Batman. You saved me again. Can you believe it? Jimmy goes to walk, but he slips on a banana peel. He stumbles under a ladder indoors. A black cat crosses his path, and he falls into a mirror, which he breaks. Batman rolls his eyes and removes his cowl. Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne stands before us. Yes, I can believe it. You stink. The Dark Knight theme plays.
Wait, he took his mask off in front of Jimmy?
Yeah, he knows him, I guess. And we see the outside of Wayne Manor.
Okay.
Christian Bale is eating at a big dinner table.
Ooh, I like this.
A voice off screen says, "Why did you call me here?"
What's he eating?
You're going to find out.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Bruce Wayne, we need to talk. Brandon Ruth's Superman sits across from him in his Superman outfit.
Right.
Because I did think about this. 2008,
Yeah.
I mean, Batman Begins was 2006.
Right.
And Superman Returns was 2006. So I think that
Yeah.
would be the Superman.
I know.
In his universe.
It's so weird, though, because, like I said, the Brandon Routh movie came out, and, like, no one really cared. It was already a bit of a downer, and it was just, and Zack Snyder was like, I can make it more sad and depressing. But it's weird because if you pull that for this movie, like, who cares?
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I
Oh my
agree.
God, it's Brandon Routh Superman.
Let's keep listening. Maybe something will happen involving his anus.
Oh no, I'm not saying it for your
Yeah, I know.
story.
You mean
I
in
mean
general.
just in general.
In real life.
Yeah.
I also mean in real life.
So Superman Returns was the 2006 Superman movie with Brandon Ruth, and Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I don't know how anyone I don't know how anyone viewed Spacey as a villain or as someone who tried to make people do things they don't want to do. Spaceman for life. Superman. So talk. Bruce Wayne. The Joker was caught in 2008. A voice off screen. Excuse me, Mr. Batman? Yes, new Alfred? Jimmy Olsen is now in Wayne Manor dressed as Alfred.
Oh, Kevin Spacey, by the way, as Lex Luthor, he's like, I bet the Green Lantern would understand me.
Does he say that?
No, because
yeah.
get Hal Jordan in here.
Yes.
I want to explain it to him.
Yes.
He would understand me.
Jimmy Olsen.
I can't do a Kevin Spacey. Can you do a Spacey?
No, it's very tough. It's really has to do with tone.
I want to know if
Someone
Green Lantern.
Someone does a great Spacey.
It's Peter Serafinowicz from the Serafinowicz Show.
Maybe.
His Kevin Spacey is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. I just hate women. That's one of his lines.
That's funny.
It's great. Anyway,
Jimmy Olsen. You can still call me
J.O..
You can still. That's what it says in my script, J.O. You can still call me Jimmy. I just wanted to let you know. Alfred's clothes are all too big for me, especially those shoes. I keep falling down the stairs. Bruce, didn't you fall down the stairs before you put on his clothes? Jimmy Olsen, yeah, but the clothes aren't helping. Anyway, I'm going to go finish dinner. 2 lean cuisines. Be right back. Superman looks at Batman quizzically as Jimmy leaves the room. Bruce, we couldn't have him in the police force anymore. And ever since Alfred moved to France, it's been lonely, so I invited him to be my new butler. The boy needs a job. Superman, that's charitable. Why did you call me here? Bruce Wayne, the Joker was caught in 2008, and ever since then he's been raving about feeling compelled. Like he had no control over what he did. Like he needed to do all those terrible things, even when he wanted to walk away. Like someone else was in control. Superman, so? He's a lunatic. Why do we care about what he feels? Batman, because I feel the exact same way.
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Was the Joker released from Arkham 15 years after he blew up a hospital?
No, he's in Arkham.
Right, sorry.
He tried to get out.
He tried to get out, but he was going to be transferred or moved or released.
no, he was counting down the days.
No,
to
he was
this
counting down the
day.
days, so they
15
transferred
years
all the other
ago,
bad
he
guys
knew.
out, so
Right.
that
Oh, okay,
so when
okay.
the countdown
Got
happened,
it.
he couldn't use them, and
Got
all the
it.
guards could focus on him.
Okay, got it.
But he was just counting down.
I thought he was counting
To
down
sorta like
to
not-
be.
No, he was going to get
released.
out, but then Batman stopped him. Remember, you kicked him in the anus.
No, I know. But it's weird that the Joker would just be like, in 15 years, I'm going to break out of here.
Dramatic music plays. We flash to the Batcave.
By the way, you're doing a really good job of selling yourself to be Jimmy Olsen in this movie.
Thank you. Batman and Superman are sitting at the Bat computer. Batman, I've been working on this for a while. He presses a few buttons and something rises from the floor. It slowly forms a circle. Remember those big circle things they used to use to bring Frankenstein to life? Those bolts? There's a bunch of those on it.
Oh, okay.
They start to glow. Suddenly, electricity rushes around the circle, and the center of the circle turns to a wheel of electric bolts. It's pretty cool. Tough to put into words. Wow. Wow. Imagine if you saw it. Man, you'd be like, this is maybe the best thing I ever saw in a movie. And then someone else might be like, what about the safe chase in Fast 5? And you'd be like, way better. Like, I love the safe chase. I do. I really do. But this portal was sick. What about Endgame when all the people came in at the end and Iron Man died? Those are great moments. When I saw them, I thought they were an A+. But now after seeing this portal from Batman, I think those Endgame moments are like a D- at best.
Wow.
At best? At best. Wow. Yep. What a portal. Anyway, back to Batman and Superman.
Even that had dialogue.
Superman. What is this? Batman. It's a portal to other worlds, each one with a different code. Right now it's set to TP 100419. Superman, what happened when you enter it? Batman. I can't enter it. It would kill a normal human. So we need someone. Superman. Super? Batman. I was going to say from another world, but sure. Here, put on this communicator so we can talk to each other when you get through. Superman puts it on, walks through the portal. Here goes nothing.
I do like that.
He says that when he ejaculates.
Yeah.
Batman, can you still hear me? Superman, yes. Superman hears the song, the Hay Song by Gary Glitter.
Dun, dun,
Superman. Gary Glitter, I thought that guy was canceled. Batman, not yet. It's 1981. Superman, 1981? Batman, yeah. A time where you could still separate art from the artist. Superman, I was just at a club on Halloween 2002 and they played Thriller. Batman, don't get me started on selective cancel culture. Michael Jackson slept with those young boys. Superman, this is no time for one of your well-reasoned rants. Batman, sure, we could all listen to Beat It, but when I go to see Bill Cosby on tour, everybody flips out. Superman, well, you're making it really hard to stand by your statement, but wait, I see the Joker, but he's different. We see the classic scene from 2019's Joker as he descends the step. It descends the steps. Superman, what should I do? He isn't doing anything illegal. He's just dancing like Elaine from Seinfeld. Batman, leave him and get back here. Superman comes back in. What was that? An imitator? Batman, are you listening? You were 40 years in the past. He's not an imitator. He's an alternate version of our Joker. Hold on. Let me change the dial. Go back in. Superman goes back into a timeline called EU 061413. He immediately sees himself fighting Zod.
Wow.
Superman, what the hell? The Man of Steel Superman is fighting Zod and knocking over buildings. As one begins to fall on a scrawny, bumbling man, Superman goes to save him, but someone else beats him to it. The Savior rolls over and we see Ben Affleck's Batman. Thanks, Bruce, says the scrawny man. We see the actor who played McLovin from Superbad. Batfleck to the McLovin guy. You have to be more careful, James. James, come on, Bruce. You know you can call me Jimmy. Batfleck, just get home. You know you're a spaz. Superman, back to Bill's Batman. Whoa, 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 this alternate you just said the word spaz. Batman, in another universe, it is 2013, back when we can still say what we want. Superman, do you care that much about saying spaz? Batman, that was my nickname for Alfred since I was a child. His full name is Sir Peter Alfred Zenith. Does that make it okay? Superman, there's no way that's true. Batman, let me say spaz. Superman comes back through the portal.
Spooperman?
Spooperman. Superman, what are we doing here? Other universes, other timelines? I don't even know if I should intervene. Neither do I, but I need you to see it for yourself. Something bigger than either you and I are running these worlds. I thought you said you couldn't go through. I can't, but I can communicate with the other Batman throughout the universe. There's a Batman who thrives in 1989. A Batman in 1966 who's frankly goofy as shit. It's shocking. So what does this all mean? I don't know. But one thing I've discovered is there's only one constant throughout these worlds. There are 3 people who have been in each and every world. And my belief is that the universe revolves around the inclusion of these 3 different people. Superman. Who? Batman. One is you. One is me. Superman. Who's the third? Lex Luthor? The Penguin? At that moment, there's a crash as a series of pots, pans, silverware, and dishes fall down the stairs. Batman's new butler, Jimmy Olsen, chases them down. Sorry, Mr. Mr. Bruce, Mr. Wayne. Batman's eyes go from Superman to Jimmy and back to Superman. Superman. Oh, no. You gotta be kidding me. Jimmy Olsen. Kidding about what? We're about to get to the part where we're going to brainstorm. We cut to later in the night with 3 of them around a computer. Batman. Through my communications, I found that the 3 of us are the linchpins. As long as human beings have free will, evil will always exist. And there are 3 archetypes around that. I represent the dark, cold fist of justice and revenge. Superman provides the balance of hope and protection. And Jimmy's excited to hear his role. Jimmy, simply put, you represent the simple, impotent, defenseless, vapid, average human. Oh, I know that sounds harsh, but you represent the people who need to be protected by myself and Superman. You fall down the stairs, you let the Joker out by accident, you're gullible, you're slow. Okay, I get it. Superman, so what do we do now? We figure out why. We figure out how we're all connected and we get to the bottom of this. So he eventually figures out a way to get into the portal, kind of like he figured out like a suit in Batman vs Superman to fight Superman.
Yeah.
So they go into it, and this is the fun in games. They can go to, I want them to go back to the Jimmy Olsen comics, the stupid ones. There's the Val Kilmer Batman we were just talking about, George Clooney, all that stuff like that. And so I feel like that's where the fun in games comes in, where the 3 of them can actually go into other worlds. And I figure they can go into the Superman and Batman stuff that exists, and you can find a representation of Jimmy Olsen because there's always people to save, and there's always like a common man or whatever, or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
So they're dimension hopping, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And eventually they get to a dimension where they can't find any evidence of Batman or Superman. They try to find info about metahumans in that world, and they can only find a legend of one single person. And the origin in this legend is in New Jersey, at an old rundown summer camp. They go to the camp. It's nightfall.
What day of the week is it?
Batman has a flashlight. Superman.
What's the date?
Yeah.
Superman has crazy flashlight vision.
All right.
Batman. More than 150 people have disappeared here in the past 40 years. Superman. This whole place? Why are people even coming here? He reads the entrance. Camp Crystal Lake. As he says that, Jason Voorhees pops out from behind a tree and raises a machete to kill Superman. Superman grabs his head and pulls it off his body and punts it into the lake. Jason's body falls lifeless to the ground. There's a beat. Batman. I thought you didn't kill. Superman. I didn't. That was a zombie. He was already dead. Batman kneels down and he sees Jason's decomposing body. You're right. That was the metahuman. Superman, this makes no sense. He doesn't fit into any of the archetypes you talked about. He's a killing machine. Batman thinks for a second. Evil and conflict will always exist. These archetypes fit around the evil and conflict. Maybe they're present in a way we don't expect. And as they look through the camp, they find a diary belonging
And Frank.
to Tommy Jarvis.
Oh.
Oh.
Now, this doesn't really matter. It sounds like you're like, oh, I got to know the lore of Friday the 13th, but you don't. They bring it back to the portal. And as Batman investigates it, he connects it to the revenge that Tommy Jarvis sought against Jason. And he realizes something. The archetypes were there. Superman, well, who were they? Why didn't they stop him? Batman, because they couldn't. They were just normal humans. Superman, I thought you said they were like us. Batman, they are in spirit and in tone. They balance each other. One person representing light and hope, one representing darkness and punishment, one representing the average person, the fool. Every time there was a string of killings at Camp Crystal Lake, those archetypes were present.
Okay.
A protector, he points to Superman. A punisher, he points to himself. And the fool, he points to Jimmy Olsen, who's currently playing Angry Birds on his phone. It's a balance of some kind. It's ever present, but why? Batty and Soupy continue to dimension hop. And they end up in Elm Street, and they find the same balance of people. They can find it in Mad Max. And so we're kind of boiling it down to the idea of these different people. Someone that's like more like trying to just like do the right thing all the time and sometimes having to fight evil because of that. One person reacting to it and trying to like punish evil, and then the person that represents the average man.
So like the core of basic storytelling structure.
Oh man,
That would
me and
exist
Ray,
in every
me and Ray
thing.
have the same brain. They
I don't know
return to
about
the
that.
portal. Superman, what does all this mean? Batman, this is the end. There's one final place to go to.
This is the
Through my research.
The movie. This is the end.
The director,
That's where they're gonna go.
The director pops up on screen. He goes, "This is the end." So this is like this is
If you haven't, go pee now.
yeah, because this is it.
Well, wait.
This is the end.
We're gonna do some more anus jokes, so you have time to hit the restroom.
And there's one final place to go.
the whole
Through my-
credits is all anus.
through my research, I found that there's one universe that's connected to all the others. Superman, why didn't we go there first? Batman, I didn't think it would help us. It's the only it's the only universe that doesn't stand alone. When you conduct an experiment, you need to have a control. Control is an element that remains unchanged or unaffected by other variables. So the final universe is chaos. It connects us all. So there's countless archetypes of all kinds. I didn't think it'd help us figure this out. Superman, but it may be the only way. Batman and Superman stand in front of the portal, and they enter into the final universe. They join hands. It's weird. They step in. The brightness is blinding. The heat, my God, the heat. Superman, where are we? Batman, Los Angeles. We see the Warner Brothers water tower. We see the DC logo on the gate. We're in Hollywood. Batman and Superman approach the gate. Security guard, who are you? Credentials? Why are you already in costume? Superman, what? Batman shoots the security guard in the neck with a blow dart, and they enter the studio lot. There are posters and banners of Batman and Superman everywhere. Different Batman, different Superman. Batman knows who they need to talk to. As they continue to frighten and intimidate the employees of the Warner Brothers lot, they get closer to their target. They enter a large building with boardrooms and conference rooms. Finally, they reach the door they need. A secretary stops them. You can't go in there. There's a meeting right now. Superman pushes him aside and opens the door. Batman speaks. We need to talk to James Gunn. A large chair turns around, revealing a white-haired, black-rimmed glasses guy. It's Timothy Gunn.
Yeah.
Batman and Superman
Tim
explain
Gunn's
it
a
all,
different person. That's fine.
and they demand an explanation for this madness. Why are these stories being repeated over and over? Why are these archetypes present in every universe? James, look, I don't know how you got here, but what you're talking about goes back to the 30s and 40s. The balance between you became a winning combination. Because of that, it gets retold again and again and again for different generations, with slight alterations, changing times and technology. You're a successful franchise. You'll never die. You'll just continue to change. Superman, what about Voorhees and the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo? The archetypes are the same. Why? His heat vision sprays and kills a group of dirty, homeless orphans in the next room. James, guys, are you serious? It's just storytelling. It's that simple. This is the balance you need to make the audience care. That's all there is to it. He looks at Superman. You have the brightest and the best of us, the one who wants to protect us all, the character who represents who we all wish you could be. He looks at Batman. You have the darkness inside us, the brooding revenge we all have boiling inside, and the passion and skills we all wish we had to exact that revenge and fight for what's right. Jimmy Olsen pokes his head out of Superman's backpack. James Gunn looks at him and Jimmy, sweet, simple Jimmy. You are the person we all have deep down, the one who needs protection, the simpleton who makes mistakes, who gets in trouble, who tries his best but consistently messes up, the idiot in a lot of cases, the normal person who needs who needs Batman and Superman. That's every world. In some way, in some variation, all those figures are present to tell a good story and to make people care. Batman, Superman, and Jimmy sit in those chairs. Batman. So we're just characters, James. Some of the most important characters. Superman. If you've been doing this for nearly 100 years, what's next? It has to change. James, you're right. It's evolving. We're getting into a new medium. Podcasting. Batman. What's a podcast?
There
James.
we go.
Well, you're from 2008, so I guess you could still ask that. It's a radio show on the internet you can listen to anytime, but we have a new podcast in development that we think will be the best podcast of all time. Jimmy, what's it called? James, fun, bearable. Superman. And are our three archetypes present? James, yes, they are. Batman. Just another version of these three archetypes? James, no. This time, we're changing things up. Jimmy, how? James, we're combining the attributes of Superman and Batman into one character. And that character is dealing with two Jimmy Olsens. Batman. That sounds like it'll be frustrating for him. James, it will be. It will be. Close up on James. But he can handle it. Or his name isn't Chuck Staten. The end. Thanks, Ray.
I think what gets me is like waiting so long. Like we watched you. Here's what happened. We had unknowingly we had to watch you masturbate, and it took you forever to finish. That's what that was.
That was a pretty shaggy dog.
Yeah.
Woo!
One of the shaggiest.
Like I feel like if a creep came up and like flashed you and started jerking off at you, and you'd be like, at least it would be quick. You know what I mean? This was like a long time. Like he's like, ha! And you're like, oh no! And then you look back and he's like, still doing it.
Still going. Hang on, let me think of something else.
So like you were saying, it's hard to think of characters, versions of this that they care about.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I was like, what is this going to turn into? And I came up with the idea of like, well, maybe we could make it so that like it's more about the personalities. And then I was like, so I'll explain where my original idea came from. The reason I wanted to do Pitch Doctors is because Marvel now has the licenses to publish comics for Planet of the Apes, Alien, and Predator. And I was like, oh, that's really, when I was reading about it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. They could make a really cool like crossover fun story.
Charlton Heston fighting predators, amazing.
Right, couldn't that those three properties?
on.
Those three properties
amazing.
coming together.
There's a goddamn predator out here. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I have to cover myself with mud again.
So,
There's a goddamn predator out here.
so wouldn't that be awesome though? Like those three worlds together. And I was like, okay,
No.
as a comic,
Maybe.
You know what?
Depending on the story.
yeah, you can't. How can you poo-poo something that doesn't even exist at all? You don't even know at all.
That's like saying literally any new idea is untouchable.
Not untouchable, but like if I
You
think
can
saying,
criticize
I think
a new
saying,
idea.
I think saying, oh no, it wouldn't be good, even though
What
there's
if
nothing
there was a
there.
comic where Superman killed himself because he was found out to be like a horrible child
no.
predator?
Because of the
You
pink,
can't poo-poo that because it doesn't exist yet.
No.
because of the pink kryptonite.
But the idea,
which had him hitting on
the
Jimmy.
idea of
It was
Alien,
satire.
Predator, and Planet of the Apes, though they live in a world where space is a thing and all these different things are a thing,
Yeah.
and they could conceivably exist together.
No, I think the reason I was like, nah, is in your telling of this, and then when you started to bring in other IPs and stuff like that, and the conversations we've had in the past about melding IPs,
Yeah.
I kind of had an epiphany while this was going on. I think what's happening right now in pop culture with mashing up all these things, Ready Player One, Marvel going in the direction of multiverse and pulling in all these other
right.
reference points, DC doing it, There's other examples of kind of playing with like multiverse stuff and IPs mashing together and creating these things, right? Space Jam was doing it, all these different things. I wonder anthropologically, if we look at this as a pop culture sociology thing, I wonder if we're at a point because of the modern landscape of creative storytelling being what it is, being capitalism centric.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, where IPs exist, intellectual properties, franchises, big studios that own multiple things that they can put together, right? I wonder if we're at a point where we've gotten so dead in the water creatively, right? That we are getting to a point where we're now having to turn like the pop culture has to turn in on itself and consume itself from inside back when things were coming out that were new, that were creative. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
It's a dark, gloomy
I have the
look.
same. Well, I already have the same concept as that in my head, where I'm like, because people have talked about the idea of a Marvel DC crossover movie, and I'm like, that will happen when the movies make so much
They don't
less
make enough money.
money.
Yeah.
That they need to pull in like
just-
name.
That Freddy needs to fight Jason.
Freddy needs to fight Jason. Freddy needs to fight
It's
Jason.
like exhausting though.
But here's
at
but
this
here's
point.
but
you
here's
know?
the thing. So I think that especially it's funny because like these big budget movies, they're so much more difficult to manage because it's so much fucking money to make these things.
Yeah.
That I think that that's one of the reasons that these ideas like get kind of shittier is because people are so concerned about them appealing. But my point is for the idea of Planet of the Apes and Alien and Predator, I think you can still make into like comic books and they will still be like, this costs nothing.
Sure,
it doesn't
sure.
cost
Yeah,
you
yeah,
anything
yeah,
to make it.
yeah.
So I still think that there's more hope for storytelling in that way. Like there was a story that Brad and I read a couple years ago called Space Punisher. And they basically took Punisher and they put him in space and they basically put him in a Star Wars world where there was all different versions of Marvel characters. It was super original. It was very fun. It was very lighthearted. And you would never get that movie. And if you tried to make it into a movie, it would be terrible because there were so many people trying to like
Sure,
be like
yeah.
this. But I think you can still do it in this weird world where it's
That's
not being
still,
put together.
let's take this existing thing and tweak it. It still comes back to that thing of like it's attached to this this IP. What worries me is that we're so far down the rabbit hole of, you know, the three studios that make things, right? And gone are like lower budget films.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about that idea of like the 10, 20, 30 million dollar movie doesn't exist
Right,
anymore.
right.
It's either a $2 million movie or a $150 million movie. Those,
Right.
like those are the two extremes of it. We aren't getting as much new stuff.
Of course,
right?
that's
we're,
without a doubt.
We're more interested in making sequels than the original property that sequels would be made from.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
And
Pulp,
so
it's Pulp Fiction versus
yeah.
whatever,
So
whatever
what,
sequel or reboot.
what worries me is we're so far down that path.
Yeah.
That now the original stuff that you pick from is getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
Of course.
And now they're literally going, we have to pick from multiple things at the same
course.
time,
Right.
which is the mashups and the universes mixing. And it is to a point where, even for me as somebody who likes this kind of stuff, jumping into like alternate dimensions and time travel and all those things, I am getting to a point like, oh yeah, there really is only like 5 big properties that happen every year. And all of them are going to do multiverse stuff so they can pull from their existing IPs. Where do we go next?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think like what you just said, Freddy has to fight Jason.
Yeah.
Which you could also say / Aliens has to fight Predator because they made those movies too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as that. And that's actually a good example of a genre where it's like, here's the peak of popularity. Then it starts to dip enough where they say, oh God, let's grab these and put them together.
Yeah.
I think that exists. I think now, like we've talked about, it's like the studio systems are dying and they're saying we want to take no risks. And so we have to grab something.
Exactly. I
Like,
think
we want to
all-
make a Tom and Jerry reboot. You know what I mean?
But here's the issue.
Tom and
I
Jerry
think
fight Tom and Jerry.
all of the little steps forward with the big corporate machine, all of the little steps in that machine to get to this point are all things that are like, hey, this is the antithesis to creativity. This little choice.
Yes, right.
Is not that, but we're going to do it. And those little choices to get here are things like we're always going to make sure we have a big actor as our lead, like that kind of idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we're going to make sure it's this big budget blockbuster thing. All those things happen, right? And then you get to a point where it's like, okay, if the recognizable property is the thing, let's start doing comic books. The comic book thing explodes. It starts happening. Then they start creating it going, okay, that's working. We can pull in other comic book characters. That's a trusted thing. Yeah. Great. They start doing that. Then they go, great. Now we're going to put them together. Okay, fine. That's where you get Avengers, right? Yeah. And they start to come together that way. Let's build it out more and more and more. And the reason I'm talking about just superheroes in this conversation is because that's basically what's left in the big machine. Star Wars is essentially superheroes. You have Star Wars, Marvel, and
DC.
Our DC movies.
Yeah. But it's like all that's
the same thing.
That's kind of it. It's in terms of the big machine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have other properties that they consistently pull from and reboot.
Yeah.
Whatever,
but it
whatever.
is this thing, and then
they'll do the Disney animation live action reboots,
and
which is the same thing.
Still cannibalistic.
It's the same thing.
It's all exactly. Yeah. It's all being cannibalized. Then we get the later thing that's happened now is we're getting the decades old reboot or sequel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting the movies that come out where it's like Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters,
right?
yeah.
First it was the Ghostbusters reboot.
Yeah.
Then it was Ghostbusters old sequel.
Oh yeah.
You know, and these things keep happening and keep compounding. My concern is that the machine of pop culture is now dictated by essentially like one company, which is Disney, or because they have Star Wars and Marvel and so
Disney.
many and Fox,
and Disney and Pixar
and the Disney stuff, and a couple other moving parts in that kind of pull from the same popularity. My concern is that the pop culture machine has gotten so cannibalistic that we have doubled back on ourselves. We have eaten everything behind us. And we have no road forward.
That's what I've been.
You know what I mean?
We had this conversation a long time ago on the podcast where I'm like, okay, so let's say at some point, 100% of the movies that were coming out were original ideas.
Yeah.
Then it became 90%. Then it became 80%.
Right.
And what are we down to now?
Yeah.
22%? 21%?
That's my concern. And I think this is a symptom of that because the other stuff that you can double back and eat yourself and be a cannibal about.
Yeah.
We've already done it, and I think the machine is like, what else can we eat? And they're like, oh, shit, we can't because we already ate these things.
Yeah, well,
I know. Just put them together.
Yeah,
now we can create a new thing to eat.
There's that, but there's also another aspect of it, which I believe is, well, if we wait 10 years, then we can sell the same story to a new generation.
Right.
Which is Lion King.
Yeah, and what
Beauty and the Beast.
concerns me is the idea that trick, it does work. Mashing shit together does work. People do want to. The animal brain wants to see it. They want to see Jason fight Freddy, regardless of the idea of like what those are.
Yeah.
But at that point, they've been franchised out for so long. They're just fucking mascots.
Yeah.
They're the Goodyear tire guy. You know what I mean? The Michelin Man. It doesn't matter. It does worry me that we're at this place where it's wild that all of these different things are mashing IPs right now. Right?
Yeah.
They're all doing it.
Right.
Like everything. The Chip and Dale's fucking reboot has an element of mashing things together because we're at a point where it's like, that's kind of all we have left. Let's maybe this character can meet that character. That's something. Can we package it? And that's the cynical part of me that worries about the machine. I say it's the cynical part. I worry that it's the right part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, like we talked about, we came up with the loose equation that 14% of the reboot stuff is good,
right?
Which means 86% of it is not.
Yeah, and at some point, there's not going to be anything left.
Exactly.
We're a little bit away from like there's going to be a Die Hard reboot. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
it's funny.
so-and-so is going to be Die
I was
Hard.
thinking about this the other day. What do you think? I thought about this the other day.
John McClane, not Die Hard.
is the newest big property that's like original idea?
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I mean,
Because it's not any of the Marvel heroes.
no,
it's not any of the DC stuff.
The most successful like franchise that's not that is Fast and Furious.
There's one that's after Fast and Furious, I believe. That's bigger than Fast and Furious. That I think is the only one I can think of.
That's outside of that.
Avatar.
Avatar is huge.
I guess Avatar is big. I don't even think about
Avatar
that.
is a fucking ride.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Harry Potter.
Okay, Mr. Scorsese.
I think it's Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah.
Harry
yeah,
Potter
yeah.
is going to be
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But besides that, which probably started 20 years ago, 20 something.
and they're rebooting it as a series.
That's
and,
what I mean.
And that's the problem is at this point, like it's all been established and it exploded and it did its thing, right?
Right.
Yes.
But I mean, we always get the echoes.
Yes.
Where the other offices, the other meetings that are happening in Hollywood or whatever are just copying the ripple of whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Magic
Game
is
of
big.
Thrones was huge.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
And therefore, Amazon has the Lord of the Rings TV show.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
stuff like,
yeah, yeah.
Like that's always happening.
Yeah.
Fine, but weird, right? I just worry that it's the snake eating its own tail has gotten all the way up to the neck of itself.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, without a doubt. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like I felt like this for years and years and years now.
Yeah, but that was all washing over me while you were reading your script.
Yeah.
and like I was having a moment in my head.
Well, that's what
You know?
to finish my original thought, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so Planet of the Apes, Alien, and Predator could conceivably happen in the same universe because
Yeah.
they're all space things, and the fact that it's just a comic book means that there's not really a lot of stakes for Marvel to publish that or whatever. There's not a lot of cost. So they could make a fun adventure out of that, whether they follow whatever it is.
Heston would win.
So
Of course.
I was excited. I was like, okay, so we're gonna do that for DC. I'm sure they have licensed the same type of things that could work together.
Yeah.
They didn't. So when I went to go write my story to find kind of a counterpart to that, it didn't exist. I expected there to be something, but there really wasn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do they have? And I looked, and it was like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scooby-Doo, Flintstones. And so I was like, well, what?
Goonies.
I know. So I was like, what could I do with this? And I went through the same thing you said, where
Yeah.
it's like, who cares about all these versions? Like Brandon Ruth, who cares about these characters? So I was like, oh, would it be fun to boil it down? This because my thing is essentially a reflection of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And saying, well, we're going to the other world. Oh, we're seeing it's other Batman and Superman. It's like, well, not really. We're just seeing that this is just a generalized
Yeah.
direction
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
these types of characters.
Yeah.
I thought about Jimmy Olsen.
Wait, why did you gesture towards me when you said
mentioned-
Jimmy Olsen?
You mentioned
thought-
something from an old Superman comic book,
Yeah.
and it made me think about Jimmy Olsen. And I was like, instead of doing like Batman, Joker, Superman, it's
Yeah.
funny to do Batman, Superman, Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
And then I thought the idea of them getting to the point where they actually go to the studios and it's just the basis for every story. I thought that was a really fun way to go with it.
Sure, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you remember Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
Yeah,
Yes.
he goes to the.
Oh yeah, he goes to
And
yes, he does go to writers.
kills archetypes and
Yeah.
kills the writers. And yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think he killed like Moby Dick or like
killed,
Ahab and
not-
Moby Dick.
not- yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
There have been other.
So even
stories
Chuck's
like that.
idea
Yeah, is
Has
a
been
ripple.
done.
Right. That's what I worry about, and it's like.
yeah,
the-
but Deadpool didn't become me.
You know what it is? Here,
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, not yet, yeah.
Anyway.
you
here's
look
the issue.
like Deadpool
Thank you.
without the mask.
Like we are,
Without, I think you were gonna say without the birds.
we are culturally deforesting. That's the problem.
Yes, we are. I agree.
We're cutting down every single thing to turn it into a quick, cheap IKEA chair.
Yep.
And we're not planting new seeds. That's my issue.
Yeah,
We're
where our
not
future
planting the new
IKEA chair is
seeds.
going to come
I
from.
wonder.
Right.
This is so interesting. I thought about the Harry Potter thing. Is there nothing new and big that's original in recent memory that's like a big movie or TV series?
I'll say The Hunger Games was probably around.
Oh,
it was-
Hunger
it was
Games.
slightly
These-
after.
But,
But
what you're describing
right.
is like Harry Potter, The Hunger Games.
Yeah, books.
Like Twilight. Like these are
Right.
just like those are all like little waves that happen.
Right.
Little like, what's the big hot shit thing?
Right.
Yeah,
like
it's true.
Twilight is fucking fidget spinners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be this thing. They tried to do it. The problem is they tried to do it way too many times.
Yeah.
As soon as Hunger Games hit, then which was
Maze
also
Runner.
a reiteration of Harry Potter in a way. Then you get Maze Runner, you get
Divergent.
Divergent, yes. You
Yeah.
know, all these things where it's like, YA, let's do all the young adult shit and it's all the same story. It's a weird place that we're in where our culture, pop culture, movie, fun stuff, popcorn, is so predicated on the idea of consuming stuff that already existed.
You know what would be a fun
and it's never been like this before.
a fun way to get out of this would be to pay
Kill
the writers.
ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Pay
All
our
right.
writers.
I was going pro union.
I thought in an existential way to get out of things.
Just to throw this out there,
I should have been more clear.
this is just a talking point to see what you think.
I hate those.
So Lion King.
Yeah.
When Lion King came out, I would consider Lion King the first one an original idea, but it is Hamlet.
Yeah.
Do you think that like, do we consider that to be different enough to be a new thing, or because like no one's
would-
like, I'm gonna go see this because it's Hamlet.
No. I say
different,
that's
right?
a different thing. Like in the same regard, like Succession is just King Lear.
Yeah.
I see.
You know, in a different form.
Right.
I think all stories will have some kind of ultimate, you know,
Yes, I
the
hear
hero's
you.
journey and all that shit. So I'm fine with the Lion King doing that. There's a huge difference between the Lion King
sure.
being like, "Hey, that's Hamlet,"
Right.
versus the quote unquote live action,
Yeah.
even though it's not the new CGI Lion King.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this just shouldn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason for this, and is measurably not as good.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't have emotional
Facial
communication
features. Yeah, I
happen
know.
through any facial
I think
features.
they all look like Brad.
Whoa.
ready.
Holy shit.
I just can't wait to
Mufasa.
be king.
Yeah. that was Mufasa right there.
Now imagine if I had a scar.
Yeah. But yeah, and not only that, but like also, not only can you not have like a facial expression happen, the voice acting was kind of bland, and story beats, they changed stuff slightly. Like scenes were structured differently. There's interesting breakdowns on all of this stuff where it's like, why did basically like you could take the scene when Mufasa falls
Okay.
and dies, and you can lay that next to each other, the cartoon version and the
Yeah.
CGI version, and you can talk about it in film school terms of like how you structure a scene. The animated version is like, yeah, those are the edits that you make, those are the cuts, that's the face that you get, and then laying it next to the other one, and it's like, why is this doing this? What like this is not as good. You already have an example of how it works, and your change makes it less good. And I think the change happens to literally just have a change.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what are we doing? You know what I mean? It bums me out that we're at a place where if we're lucky, the reiteration can be entertaining enough to like grab you.
Right.
At some point, I have to be honest with myself and go, Baby Grogu is just a little Yoda. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a lil Yoda.
Yeah.
They called him Baby Yoda for a season and a half before they went. By the way, his name's Grogu.
Yeah.
Like, you have to
Hey, George.
recognize those things.
George and George he's looking at the letters in his own name.
Oh, damn. Oh, I could have gotten there.
George, you.
Georgia? Gorgu?
Yeah, it's very.
It's George. You need to come up with an idea. George, you need to, and it's just him hearing George. You.
Oh, wait, and we can take the need and turn it into din. Jar in.
Yeah, I think about this all the time. I think about the idea.
I had dinner in a jar.
I think about this all the time in terms of like, what do you do if you're a person who says, I have an idea and I want to get it made?
Yeah.
It feels like you try to work on other things for a long time until
Right.
you're powerful enough to get your original idea.
But like we were at a point like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where you would have a newer director, a younger director
Right.
who hit with a feature.
right.
and did something interesting,
Yes.
they would then be hired by Disney to do a Marvel or Star Wars movie and be handed this billion-dollar franchise and, okay, now make your movie. Like Rian Johnson is an example of that.
Edgar Wright was almost
Edgar
an
Wright,
example.
exactly. But that's where we were then, like 10 years ago, where the person making the smaller movie gets plucked.
Yep.
Now there's no smaller movie to get plucked from.
Yeah.
I know.
And if there are very few of them.
Yes.
So it all does just worry me where it's like, I think
sure.
we ate the legs out from under us on a bridge and now we're Wile E. Coyote and like, uh-oh, don't look down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like laying train track down.
What's tough is that we are people coming from the side of creation,
Yeah.
and the people that get to make these decisions are just making the next light bulb.
They're trying to make counters.
They're just, well, no, that's not the bean counter. Well, I mean,
Doesn't that sound racist now?
With musical fruit counters, I think is what
No.
we're the people that want to make stories.
Yeah, yeah.
But the people that get to greenlight what stories get made care about how much money is coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And the safe bet is always going to be the lowest common denominator.
exactly.
Yeah. Well,
we hope we've inspired a future generation on today's Funbearable episode.
I like how we got to a point where we're like, it's all fucked and you can't change it. Have a great day.
Well, you want to hear my answer? You want to hear my optimistic answer?
Save it for the Patreon.
Okay. No, go ahead. Is that we get to control the stuff that we do.
Sure.
And so my way of laughing at this stuff and kind of is us having fun like this. And you bring up all the offensive stuff that they've done in the past.
Yeah.
So
And you coming up with the stuff where it mashes up the original ideas for the film versions.
An earnest attempt.
And then me coming up with the idea of like they're all boiling down
An
to the
Ernest
same
P.
storytelling
Worrell
piece,
attempt.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
So I wish you had gone second because then I would have had more offensive things to add to my list. But no,
But do you know what I mean?
This was certainly.
Remember when we argued about how to
think.
pronounce syrup versus syrup?
Oh my
Do you know what I
God.
mean though? Like
That's
that's we
5
get
weeks
to
ago?
we get to control the fun we have in the world that we don't control.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and that's what that serial killer said in his defense.
Yes.
I lacked control in my life except for this one aspect, and that was ending the lives of others. Oh no, he turned into Heston at the end.
Yeah, that was the
these
killer.
goddamn predators.
Yes.
These goddamn
The
predators.
only thing I could control was, yeah.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Ooh.
Oh, see, it changes.
Yeah.
When it's Charlton Heston as Ripley.
Yes.
Get away from her, you
Come
bitch.
on, Charlton Heston and the big thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fun.
That'd be
I've
great.
got a big fuck off huge robot.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. If you all listening or watching have thoughts and want to share them, we'd love to read about them. Funbearablepod at
Yes.
gmail.com or Funbearablepod on all social media.
Do you say syrup?
Yes.
Do you say syrup?
Or are you are you the third person that Chuck can think
that
of?
says SERP.
SERP.
Yeah.
Chris Rock right in. Oh, I'm right.
Yeah. Well, I think we had a good time.
let us know which pitch doctor pitch you would prefer if you were a DC
I don't think we need to measure
executive.
it that way.
Eh,
But they're
just
also
giving them
they're-
writing prompts.
They're so different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? All
Sure.
three are so different.
Yeah.
All
But yeah, I
let's-
mean, if you want one,
we're gonna green
go
light all
for it.
three.
I have a feeling Pink Kryptonite is gonna win.
Pink Kryptonite. He complimented Jimmy Olsen like on his fashion choices.
That's what I figured,
And
yeah.
it's
just a
it's like
shame.
it's like the writers did this as satire of like 1950s ideas.
Maybe.
Oh, so they were doing it.
Yeah,
No.
they were-
He's
according to this, the tongues
Oh.
were in cheeks.
You read it.
Yes.
You read about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I just looked at it.
See, I think it's unfortunate that it was in comic book form only.
Yeah.
If it had been in a cartoon or a movie,
Yep.
what voice do you think would have been going on there
You know what? We're out of time
with Pink Kryptonite for Superman?
Out of time for today. But wow, what a great thing to think about and never speak about.
That's a good point. Maybe we should leave everybody with a little theater of the mind. Let's all, again, close your eyes, especially if you're driving.
Yep.
Close your eyes and just imagine the 2003 Pink Kryptonite storyline, Superman, and what he would sound like.
Perfect. Thank you all so much for listening and or watching, for being here with us today.
Are you familiar with Rip Taylor?
For Ray Harrington.
Don't.
I hope that the camera stayed on Ray for that part. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
It's a very flamboyant bird. No, it's a lisping plane. Wait, it's pink kryptonite Superman. Oh no, I really want to do it. Is it? Can you feel? Oh my god!
Stop recording and do it.